player, not only his ability to run this option, but his ability to throw the ball down the field.
Stockbridge Tigers 12-1, the runners-up in Region 8 here in Class 5A. They are 0-2 all-time in state semifinals. This is their third trip in the last 5 years, looking to get to their first ever state final. Meanwhile, for Bainbridge, they are 1-2 all-time in state finals. That one win was in 1982, and they won the state title for their only state title in school history. They've got a chance to get back to the state championship for the first time in 35 years. In many ways, this is a battle between the have-nots. On the other side of the bracket, Warner Robins and Rome, those two teams are juggernauts. They have won a combined 6 state titles, including 4 since either of these teams won their most recent state title. So it's a rematch on the other side of 5A, but here in Stockbridge tonight, one team has a chance to get all the way to the final game, game 15 in Class 5A. And on to kick it away, this is Marco Trejo, the sophomore, and it is a squib kick that ends up in the hands of an up back. And that is how we start tonight with a big hit. It was fielded by none other than Michael Ryan for Bainbridge. He's been a key receiver for them, and that speaks volumes to what they think of Caleb McDowell, Bainbridge's return man, who took one back 98 yards to start the second half last week in their surprising win over Buford.
Both of these teams have dangerous returners, so squib kicks tonight are going to be very common throughout.
So 1st and 10, ball at the Bainbridge 35. Opening drive for an extremely young Bearcat offense, but they have matured and played beyond their years since the calendar flicked from October. It's only gotten better in playoffs here in November. And the first give is to McDowell, takes it around the left end. He's wrapped up by Kerrick Reese. You look at some of the numbers, Jack, that we've seen from this Bainbridge offense in the second half. It's been awfully impressive.
And you look at a guy that's Hawkins that's lead the second half charge. He threw in the first 2 months of the season 2 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Since then, he's flipped that. 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He's really hitting his stride as the season's gone along.
Quade Hawkins, just a sophomore. He's got McDowell to his left. As we mentioned, number 5 in white. He's got a total of 8 touchdowns in the postseason, 6 on the ground as he brings it around the right side. Ankle tackle made by Sherman Oralholm. He leads the team in breakups, with that time making a tackle in the ground game.
And Stockbridge has done a great job on defense, especially in the playoffs, giving up a total of 9 points in the last 2 weeks. Bainbridge is going to have trouble scoring against the Stockbridge defense tonight.
So it is a loss of 1 on the play, 3rd down and 6. Ball at the Bainbridge 39. Opening drive for the Bearcats. A 3-hour drive away from home down in the southwest corner of the state, playing here in South Atlanta. Hawkins gazes towards the sideline. Jeff Littleton, the head coach, in his 7th year. Hawkins goes over, completes the pass for a first down into enemy territory. Nice catch made by Smoke Bowie. Let's take a look at our starting lineups now. There's the offense. Smoke Bowie's not going to be listed on that. He wears number 3, but he's been effective in the passing game. But it's Aaron Spivey and A.J. Cooper. They have been the 2 key targets for Quade Hawkins.
And going back to Bowie, all the coaches around here have got great things to say about him. The freshman's made a huge impact for this Bainbridge team this season.
1st and 10, ball at the 46-yard line, broken up. Nice defense. That was Sherman Oralholm again. Let's take a look at Stockbridge's defense now, who is allowing fewer than 11 points per game this year.
And you're going to look at Deon Bowie as well. Steve Eson up front, 5'10", 250 pounds. Not exactly tall enough to get that college interest, but he's done a great job high school-wise this season.
And keep an eye on the linebacker, Kerrick Reese, number 34, leads the team in tackles. He's got 119 entering play tonight. He's already picked up number 120. So after the incompletion, 2nd down and 10. Trips to the left for Hawkins. He'll give it that way, and this is the first touch, I believe, for Rashad Broadnax, the sophomore running back. It's an impressive sophomore class.
And the trio for Bainbridge with McDowell, Hawkins, and Broadnax are really special for Bainbridge. And 3 sophomores are going to be leading the charge for years to come for this Bainbridge team.
So it's a gain of about 3. Call it a short 8 if you like. They've got to get to the Stockbridge 36. Ball spotted at the 43. Let's see what the Bearcats opt to call here. 3 receivers to the left, the lone man to the right. Hawkins looking to pass. He's under duress as the bridge opened up. And a deep ball falls incomplete. It was looking for Michael Ryan. But that'll force the Bainbridge punt team onto the field. And Jack Ayler move the chains once, but Stockbridge's defense, it's been their calling card not only this season, but throughout Coach Whitley's 10-year tenure.
And Bainbridge has got to do a better job of getting in third and mediums, third and short, where they do have the option to run the ball on third down, because not only has that been a strength of their team, but as well, but when the Stockbridge defensive line can pin back their ears and know a passing down is coming, Bainbridge is going to have a hard time picking up first downs.
Caleb Harris on to boot it away. Yasin McKee back deep. He had 2 punt returns for 45 yards last week. Signals for a fair catch here. He'll take it just outside his own 10-yard line. So it'll be now the Stockbridge offense coming onto the field. And this matchup, an intriguing one. Let's take a look at our keys to the game and how either of these teams can get to the state final. First, for Bainbridge, Jack, explosive plays, and they got to play in the backfield defensively.
Well, in explosive plays, they've got to make plays on all 3 sides of the football, special teams, defense, and offense. Their offense is going to need help tonight from their defense and their special teams, because if their offense is the only one producing, getting in the end zone, then they're going to have a hard time trying to win this game tonight. And then for Stockbridge ball security, an option team, natural concern is turning the ball over.
See if they can send a message and get off to a fast start as well, as McDonald keeps this one himself, nearly broke through. But that's going to be a lot of the medicine that this Bainbridge defense is asked to take down.
And McDonald, the leading rusher for the Stockbridge team, over 1,000 yards on the season, 13 rushing touchdowns. In this option attack, he's going to be the guy that's going to be keeping the ball the most.
So ball we spotted at the 17, a gain of 6. Second down and 4, they've got to get to the 21.
Those 6-yard gains on first down, what you like to see?
Again, it's a lot of triple option from Coach Whitley as they give it up the gut. Not much doing there against this Bainbridge front. Brings up third down. They're saying the ball came out, and it's actually Roman Harrison who comes out with it. He's a future Tennessee Volunteer, but they'll say that the knee was down first on the carry from Markel Ramsey.
Stockbridge has lost 2 fumbles last week in the first 6 minutes of the game. Bainbridge has survived and really advanced throughout the playoffs by forcing these turnovers. So these turnover battle tonight is going to be big for both teams.
5 turnovers from the Bainbridge defense in round 1, 5 in round 2. They had just 1 last week, but that does not include a blocked punt for a safety as well as a bad snap that took Buford out of scoring position. Here's McDonald. He's going to try and create. He's cut down by his legs. First man to get a hand on him was Bryce Worthy, but that'll be enough to move the chains out to the 23. Nice running there by the junior quarterback, first-year starter. Speaking of starters, here's a look at the first 11 for head coach Kevin Whitley.
And you see Javon McDonald at top. Quantez Futch and Markel Ramsey are leading the charge at running back and wide receiver. And Yasin McKee also is a big player, not only on offense, not only on defense, but also special teams as well, returning the football.
Stockbridge lost 25 seniors off their 2017 team. But they have not missed a beat. 12-1 in the regular season as we have a flag, and it'll be delay of game, our first penalty of the night. This will make it 1st and 15. There's our head official tonight, Todd Downs. A softball coach by trade. He's actually on the staff at Georgia State. Spent some time at Georgia Tech. But officiating high school football tonight. Spoke to him earlier. Said the first game he ever officiated 33 years ago, 1985. Back then, Bainbridge was only 3 years removed from a state title. Have not been to a state final since. Stockbridge, of course, has never been to a state championship. So 1st down and 15. McDonald looking to throw and overshoots his target, Isaiah Taylor, and that was a combination, Jack, last week that worked awfully well.
And Taylor opened the scoring for Stockbridge last week. The game was knotted at 0 for about 6 minutes until a 65-yard strike from McDonald to Taylor. They can do that. Despite being mostly a run team, they can drop back to pass if they need to.
There's a look at your Bearcat starters. Roman Harrison, number 30, the nose tackle, a Tennessee Volunteer. He's the only Power 5 recruit on either team between Bainbridge and Stockbridge. That is, of course, not including the freshmen and sophomores who are yet to commit and really begin their recruiting cycle. But second down and 15 now from the 13. And McDonald is swallowed up by the jaws of the Bearcat defense.
And for Bainbridge, this is exactly what you want, these third and longs that allow Stockbridge to be able to drop back and throw the football, passing downs.
Right into the arms of Roman Harrison, who leads the team with tackles for loss. 8.5 sacks on the year, as you see. He's got 3 double-digit tackle games, and he's the only preseason All-State selection between these two teams combined entering the 2018 season.
And Harrison's a special player. That big number to watch is 31 tackles for loss. He's always going to be in the backfield.
Well, third down and 14. They'll give him the 20. Got to get to the 34. McDonald looking to pass. Heaves it high and long. A tight window, incomplete, as it is broken up by Jaheim Jenkins. They were looking for Jalen Taylor. That's the younger brother of Isaiah Taylor.
And in this Bainbridge secondary, very inexperienced. Unlike the linebacker core, which is all seniors, you're looking at the secondary, which is inexperienced. But on third and longs, Bainbridge can afford to give some help from the linebackers and add extra defensive backs in the game to give them that support on third and 15 or third and 14 when it's a must throw down.
It'll be fourth and long. Kierick Reese, their linebacker, back to punt. Averages just over 30 yards per boot. Meanwhile, 2 returners back. That would be Caleb McDowell and Aaron Spivey. And this will be taken by Spivey, wrangled down by the jersey, hanging on for dear life. That's Steve Bonner, running back by trade, and he grabbed a fistful of jersey and held on to it.
And this is the type of team effort that Bainbridge needs. Their defense gets a stop early enough in Stockbridge territory, so Bainbridge's next drive is starting inside the 50-yard line. That's good for an offense that's going to need a lot of help tonight against the Stockbridge defense.
Exploring Stockbridge's defense a little further, they're +4 in turnover margin this year. They have forced 19 takeaways, 10 fumbles, 9 interceptions. And not only are they allowing fewer than 11 points per game, but in the playoffs, it's down to below 9 points per game.
And 9 in the last 2 games as well.
Hawkins looking to pass. It's complete. Fighting through a tackle. And Spivey will spin his way. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Bainbridge. What a yardage after the catch. A 44-yard strike. And the Bearcats strike first here on the road in the jungle.
What a play by Aaron Spivey, not only coming up with that football, but breaking the tackles and taking it to the house. These are the type of big plays that Bainbridge needs to make, especially early in the game. We saw them get out to a big lead versus Buford last week. That helped them get a win. This week it's important for them also to get out to an early lead against Stockbridge, and they've done so here.
Quade Hawkins, his 12th touchdown pass of the season. Now the officials discussing a little further to see if perhaps he did step out of bounds, and now they'll say actually a flag came out at the end of that and a holding call against Bainbridge. It'll be a spot foul. No, a block in the back. I spoke too soon. So a block in the back, says Todd Downs. They will spot it at the 19-yard line. So it's still 1st and 10, but Jack, it is so hard to get in the end zone against Stockbridge. That is a huge call that takes points off the board for Bainbridge.
Yeah, talking to some Bainbridge radio announcers before the game, it's really hard to score in Stockbridge inside the 20-yard line. So you just had a score. It comes back because of a penalty. It's going to be really tough for Bainbridge to get in the end zone again.
It's the first penalty charge to the Bearcats. 5 minutes, 58 seconds on the clock. Quade Hawkins looking to go back to work after a 25-yard pass. This will be a little pop into the hands of McDowell. He's got the edge down to the 10, and he's tabletopped by Sherman Orelholm, senior defensive back.
Bainbridge's attack tonight is going to have to be through McDowell and Broadnax, the 2 sophomore running backs that have really led the charge this year. McDowell with 867 yards coming into today's game. That'll set up their second manageable situations. So when they throw it, they're comfortable doing so.
McDowell playing with a heavy heart tonight as well. His mother passed away a little over a month ago. His father, Derek, is here, as well as his younger brother on the sidelines tonight. But he's been playing with a lot of passion in the past couple of weeks, and deservedly so, as he's stopped up I'll say his forward progress was at around the 7 or 8 yard line, but we do have a flag on the play. And it's holding against Bainbridge. Another penalty and another bit of help for the Stockbridge defense that I think it's safe to say a little surprised that they are bending to the will the Bearcat offense like they have, not used to giving up this many yards.
Well, and you can blame Bainbridge for this as well, for these penalties, but Stockbridge's defensive line is certainly causing this. These holding penalties are caused by Stockbridge guys off the line beating these offensive linemen. Bryce Bass, Desmond Barkley, Steve Eson, John Prince, 4 guys up front that are very good players. One of the biggest strengths of the Stockbridge team.
So there are multiple penalties on the play. Looks like the one they will accept will be holding. And now let's see where they walk this back to. The line they had was on the 11. And this will be walked all the way back to the 20s. Maybe they're looking from the 10. Either way, it'll now be 2nd and 11. So 2nd and 11. Trips left. Hawkins looking that way. Connects. Caught by Spivey. Lowers the boom. And equal to the task, Yasin McKee. Boy, neither player showing much fear there. A pair of seniors, knowing one of them is playing their final game tonight.
And a pair of 2 playmakers as well that are going to be pivotal not only on offense, defense, but special teams as well. 2 guys that are going to be those outside playmakers for this team.
They're the dynamite for both their teams. That's safe to say. Extremely explosive. Both Aaron Spivey, 7 in white, and Yasin McKee in green, playing all 3 ways. And McDowell hunting for room, found absolutely nothing but the arms of Yasin McKee. Flexes the biceps, saying, no, not my house. Then on 3rd down and short, Bainbridge comes up well short, and now we've got a player down. Can't quite see a number on it. But the trainers from both Bainbridge, unless there might even be a Stockbridge rep out there as well checking on him. But again, we don't want to speculate, can't quite see the number. So we'll have to wait just a moment.
And on 4th and 3, it's going to be interesting what Bainbridge is going to do here. Try to send out the field goal unit or try to go for it on 4th down.
Bainbridge, wow, what a run to get here to the semifinals. Taking down Jones County 40-13, trailed that game 10-0. Then Wayne County, another top 10 team. They were ranked number 5. They trailed that game 12-6, and then slaying the immortal, if you will. The Buford Wolves will miss the state semifinals for the first time since 2006, and they had a 35-game home playoff winning streak snapped by these Bainbridge Wildcats. So they might be a smaller team than most of their opponents, but they show very little fear, as it is now Caleb Harris, who is 3 for 5 in field goals this year, as long as 34, lining up for what will be a 28-yard try.
It's going to be important for Bainbridge to get these points on the board after getting that touchdown taken off the board. You at least want to go away with something.
Still could not get a number on the player. He was helped off the field for Bainbridge, and he's currently underneath the 10th on the Bainbridge sideline. And now a timeout called by the Bearcats. 4 minutes and 19 seconds remaining. Meanwhile, for Stockbridge, their road has been a little smoother, I suppose, and that's somewhat to be expected. Taking down Veterans 20-14, a tighter game than many expected, but boy, the last 2 weeks, Jack, they haven't given an inch. 9 points, including a thumping of number 10 Carrollton 48-3.
Well, last week, staying here, Carrollton, an absolute blowout. Carrollton is no joke, too. Not only in the quarterfinals, you don't see many. You see a lot of very good teams. Carrollton, number 10 in the state. Not only did they not just give up 3 points, they scored 48, almost 50 points in the quarterfinals. That's something you rarely see.
Stockbridge, by the way, they had a significant win streak that was snapped earlier this year, a 42-game regular season winning streak. Of course, that's not Rome's 40 games total, in which they've won back-to-back state titles, but all the same. So here's Harris on for the 28-yard attempt. He's made 3 straight, and this kick has the distance. And before that, looks like we had a whistle, yes.
Wow.
And it's going to be offsides against Stockbridge. It'll be 1st and goal. Oh, my goodness. Offsides against Stockbridge, and there's second life. Those are the type of mistakes. I know it's not a turnover, Jack, but it's essentially a turnover because now you have a chance to put 7 on the board instead of just 3. And Coach Whitley beside himself on the sideline saying, how do we allow that to happen on 4th down and 3 inside our own 15?
Well, on Bainbridge's first apparent touchdown by Spivey, that was called back. Bainbridge kicking themselves in the shins there, and Stockbridge doing the same as well, giving Bainbridge once again another chance to try to get into the end zone.
Coach Kevin Whitley in his 10th season left Creekside High School where he coached Eric Berry. Said when he took the Stockbridge job, a program that had never been in the state playoffs, said his friends called him crazy. Looks like he turned out to be the one who was in the right. And this is a handoff up to McDowell. He gets a yard maybe. Nice front 7 play and a particularly strong tackle by Chris Parsons, senior linebacker.
And McDowell has scored 6 rushing touchdowns in the last 3 playoff games for Bainbridge. So look for Bainbridge to go to him often inside the red zone, especially inside the 10-yard line.
So let's say just inside the 7, 2nd and goal. Second possession for Bainbridge. They had points on the board for a moment, but a block in the back took a touchdown off the board. Field goal attempt was made less important as this is a throw towards the end zone. Did he break the plane? And they will say no, he's inside the 1-yard line. That's A.J. Cooper on the catch. And this sets up 3rd down and goal from inside the 1. And boy, here comes Bainbridge. They're not wasting any time here.
I expect McDowell would get the ball right here up the middle. Give me sneak.
Quarterback sneak. Hawkins leans forward. The signal from the officials. They say no. They say he is stopped somehow inside the 1. Hawkins has 4 rushing touchdowns on the season. 4th and goal from inside the 1. This is about as big as a first quarter play can get.
If I'm Bainbridge, got to set the tone. You're about an inch away from the end zone. Get the big boys in the game, drive through the middle, and the worst comes to worst, if you don't get it, Stockbridge is inside the 1-yard line. Your defense has got a lot of room to work with.
The fullback who has checked in is Ridge Barnett. They're going to have Hawkins in shotgun here.
While I don't get this, you got an inch to go.
They give it to McDowell, and he's taken down from behind, and they'll say he is stopped shy of the line to gain. What a play by the Stockbridge defense. 2 plays inside the 1. It's been their calling card for the last decade. And who was it making the tackle? Carrick Reese coming off the sideline. I believe it was he who got behind the line and tripped up McDowell, who was denied what would have been his 9th touchdown of the postseason.
And Wiley, you've got to go for it on 4th and down inside the 1, but why go in the shotgun? You've literally got 2 inches to get into the end zone. Should have gone under center and just pushed yourself into the end zone. But going in the shotgun, pushing yourself about 5 yards back as a quarterback, I just don't understand.
Let's take one more look at this play. 4th and inches. They give it to McDowell. And no, I beg your pardon. It is actually going to be John Prince who makes the tackle. And not only is it a denial, but the ball comes loose. Stockbridge recovers, and therefore it's a touchback. And they've got the ball on the 20.
Well, that's also huge as well, because the worst comes to worst for this one was Stockbridge was going to be held inside the 1-yard line for Bainbridge. Now at the 20-yard line, things are going wrong for Bainbridge on that drive, especially with that 4th down.
That is the 3rd forced fumble of the season. And now a pre-snap penalty against Bainbridge. It's 1st and 5. Ball at the 25. Oh, what a swing here for Stockbridge. Let's see how aggressive they are on offense with their second possession. McDonald keeps, and he's suplexed down to the 27. Big-time hit from the Bearcats' leading tackler, Randy Fillingame.
And this drive is going to be really important for the Bainbridge defense. These last few plays have gone all Stockbridge, so Bainbridge has got to plug the holes, play damage control, and really play assignment football on defense, because Stockbridge, if you don't play your assignments, they'll make you pay.
So 2nd down and 4. Right now, Bainbridge, they've got to be in disbelief that they were not able to turn that drive into points of any kind. And Caleb McDowell, who's been automatic this postseason, not only does he not get in, but coughing up the football helps out Stockbridge's offense tremendously. And a tackle behind the line. Wow, what a play. Randy Fillingame again, a little bit of a misdirection there as McDonald visibly frustrated. But this would be a big stop if Bainbridge can come up and force Stockbridge to punt, especially considering it was 1st and 5.
And for really McDonald, he's the leading rusher on this team, so Bainbridge, all eyes are going to be on him rushing the football tonight.
One more look at this stop. And just nothing there. McDonald was hit hard, and he's enveloped again. Oh, my goodness. The front 7 for Bainbridge. You thought it was a good goal line stand from Stockbridge. Well, the Bearcats say, hey, we're pretty stingy, too, and we don't have to be on our own goal line.
And this Bainbridge front 7 led by linebacker Randy Fillingame does a fantastic job right here. Stockbridge has all the momentum. If they have a few big plays on offense, it even increases, but Bainbridge levels it out with a huge 3-and-out. And Bainbridge, if they can get a solid returner, is going to have good field position for the next offensive drive.
Reese to punt. McDowell and Spivey are back, and this one will hit the turf and take a Tiger bounce. Remember, fans, you can watch this game not only on the NFHS Network, but also on the Facebook Watch tab as part of the Road to State, brought to you by the NFHS Network. You're watching the NFHS Network Road to State on Facebook Watch. And, well, what you've seen thus far has been pretty good defensive play on both sides. One turnover already, a fumble on the goal line, but the Bainbridge defense able to pick up their offense. And that was one of the big changes for the Bearcats offensively. They have been taking care of the football lately, especially at the quarterback spot, where at the start of the season, Jack, through the first 2 months, Quade Hawkins struggled mightily. 2 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Since October 1st, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
That speaks to Bainbridge's patience to continue to put him out there.
Could be the final play of the first quarter as this pass falls incomplete. Intended for Aaron Spivey, who's got 12 catches now in the playoffs with that 25-yarder he had on the last drive.
And as we're almost done with this first quarter, I think both teams feel pretty confident where they're at right now. Bainbridge has been getting out to big leads in the first quarter, so Stockbridge is doing a good job preventing that. We're on Stockbridge's side. They like this defensive battle. Their defense is continuing to roll, and their offense, with more snaps, more reps, should get something going forward.
Quade Hawkins, he was in a 3-man quarterback battle at the start of the season. Coach Littleton said he learned the fastest and moves very well in the pocket. This pass a little tall, but hauled in. This is Peterson. Jalen Peterson is taken down by Yasin McKee. That'll be the end of the first quarter, but we do have a flag first to sort out. See what Todd Downs, our head official, has to say.
Those are big plays for Bainbridge right there. Those are pretty much equivalent yardage-wise to a run.
It's going to be a face mask against Stockbridge, and that means it'll be 1st and 10 from midfield, I believe, depending on if that's a personal. Yes, 1st and 10 at midfield.
And once again, another penalty for Stockbridge.
So 1st and 10 at midfield. We may be scoreless, but it has not been without fireworks. Stockbridge and Bainbridge, a trip to Mercedes-Benz Stadium on the line. You're watching the NFHS Network Road to State on Facebook Watch. Beg your pardon, folks. One untimed down first, as Hawkins will complete this pass caught by Caleb McDowell. Lost his footing on the turf, and now the first quarter will come to a close. When we come back, it'll be 2nd and 8 from the Stockbridge 48. Bainbridge with the football. Scoreless here in the jungle. You're watching the NFHS Network Road to State on Facebook Watch.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At nfhslearn.com, you can find over 60 courses for coaches, administrators, officials, parents, students, and performing arts programs, including over 25 free courses such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. For more information, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
A warm fall night, 61 degrees here in the air in Stockbridge, Georgia. Awfully better weather than what we had a week ago when Bainbridge took down Buford. It's 2nd and 8 to start the second quarter, and it's a give up the gut to Rashawn Broadnex. He has walled up first man on the scene, John Prince. But, Jack, this Bainbridge offense has been so much more effective second half of the season.
And the two numbers that have been better are, first of all, the points per game total. It's over 2 times what it was in August and September, only about 14. August and November, 30 points a game. The biggest thing as well, passing. 68 yards per game from August to September, now 149 yards per game. So I think as the season goes along, Quade Hawkins, a sophomore, getting more reps, getting more experience, they're more confident to call those passing plays, and he's delivering.
So after a rush of 1 yard from Broadnex, it's 3rd and 7, ball at the 47. Hawkins looking to the left. It's complete to Broadnex. Hurdles one man, taken down from behind by Reese. It'll depend on the spot, and they're going to say he got the first down. Reese almost knocked Broadnex over the first down line.
And Broadnex included only 5'8". This offense for Bainbridge is not super big, but they are very quick. They do break a lot of tackles. They're very elusive. We've seen that a few times with Spivey. We see it here with Broadnex.
It's just the second catch of the postseason for Rashawn Broadnex, and Reese again lowering the boom, but you can see on the Tiger sideline they were a little disappointed. It was close, but winds up being a gain of 9, 1st and 10 at the 38. Here's McDowell trying to stretch it, cuts back inside, now bounces backwards and has nowhere to go. They covered they covered almost a good 20 yards. Great lateral coverage by the Stockbridge defense. They may have size, but they also have quickness.
And McDowell kind of highlights what this Bainbridge team is. You look at him getting around the edge. He was trying to find a hole. He did his best effort, never gave up on it. That's just like Bainbridge's team throughout the season. They had a rough start. They bounced back. They never gave up. And they're here tonight playing some good football.
Be a loss of 2, 2nd and 12, ball at the 40. Hawkins all by his lonesome that puts Spivey. It's going to be a double or a reverse. And now jetting up the side is A.J. Cooper right between the hashes. A.J. Cooper saw his window, made the play, comes up a little lame. We also have a flag.
I would not be surprised if this one came back to a holding penalty.
And that is exactly the case. So not only does it take away that big gain from Cooper, he has to go to the sideline and get tended to. And instead of 1st and 10, it'll be 2nd and even longer.
And those holding penalties are very prevalent on those end arounds and sweeps like those because you're asking your blockers to start moving laterally, and that's when jerseys get tugged. Now Bainbridge, a big penalty moving back to their own territory.
So it's back to the 49. Beg your pardon. They've got to get to the 28-yard line. That means it is 2nd and 23. Hawkins a long pass, secured by Jalen Peterson. And on the stop, that was Sherman Oralholm.
And that's Peterson's second catch of the playoffs, so getting involved early here in the second quarter.
Well, it is a pickup of 6 yards, but that still makes it 3rd down and 17. Got to get to the 28.
Well, even if you're Bainbridge, even if you're not going to get the first down here, it's still important to get yards because in a low-scoring game, it's going to be all about the ball, all about field position.
Second time Bainbridge has been into plus territory tonight. Hawkins looking to throw. Over the middle, it's caught! Braxton Johnson, the freshman, just his 5th catch of the season. His first since October 5th that it moves the chains. Holy smokes, Braxton Johnson. I don't think that was the first choice.
Well, and it was a great play by Hawkins sitting in the pocket. The Bainbridge offensive line giving him that time and delivers a perfect strike, and a great job by Johnson lowering his shoulder, making sure he gets past the first down marker, and a big play to keep this Bainbridge drive alive.
And nice work going through the progression. You can see the head bobbing of Quade Hawkins. This pass complete to Aaron Spivey inside the 20, keeping those legs churning. Tackle finally made by Clayton Wilson, the senior, trying to pry that ball loose. But boy, this is, to me, Jack, shocking the way Bainbridge has moved the football in this Stockbridge defense. They have been one of the best units in the entire classification.
And if they score right here in any way, we're going to circle that big third down that Hawkins was able to connect with Johnson. It was a huge play.
Now we've got an official timeout. Bainbridge has brought a whole host of fans. It was a 220-mile trip. The starters left at 3:30 yesterday afternoon, and the rest of the community has followed over the last 24 to support their Bearcats. Hawkins left, incomplete. Oh, my goodness. In disbelief, Jackson Jones saying, how did I not intercept that pass?
And Stockbridge's defense has played to a really bend but not break mentality. Bainbridge is moving the ball very well, but once they get inside the 20, especially last drive when they stopped them inside the 1 yard line, Stockbridge's defense is not breaking.
I was going to say they're moving the ball fine until they got inside the 1. And not only was it a goal line stand, but McDowell fumbled the football. And so Stockbridge got it 1st and 10 on their 20 inside of their own 1. In fact, they had it 1st and 5 thanks to a pre-snap penalty on the Bainbridge defense, but couldn't pick up a single first and had to give the ball back. So 2nd down and 10. Hawkins over the top, and this one is incomplete as well. That time it hit Jalen Jackson right in the hands.
And that's why he's a defensive back and not a wide receiver, Wiley. Those interceptions have got to be made for Stockbridge, for really Bainbridge as well. You get a ball right at your hands of your defense, you got to make those plays. You got to get the ball back.
One more look at it. Hawkins, he was on his man the whole time. Oh, my goodness. Disbelief. Stockbridge defense, they've got 9 interceptions on the year. Jackson has 1 of them. He's actually the backup quarterback. So even at the high school level, sometimes you have those crossovers, DBs and wide receivers. Not the case here. 3rd and 10. Hawkins rolling right. He's going over the top, and it's incomplete. This time it's Aaron Spivey, the senior wideout, who cannot believe he didn't haul in a touchdown catch.
And after Spivey's big play on the last drive gets called back, trying to get a touchdown on the board right here, unable to make this catch. And the football must be slippery today because neither team can really corral it, especially inside the red zone.
Well, it is an all-turf surface here in Stockbridge, and there's no moisture in the air. Perhaps those nerves and jitters a little bit, knowing that one of these teams is going to either their first state final in 35 years if you're Bainbridge, or your first ever if you're Stockbridge. This will be a 30-yard field goal, and it's a fake. A pitch up the middle. Not only did it not go anywhere, they lost yards. Oh, my goodness. The second turnover inside the 20 for Bainbridge. This one on downs, and they tried to go up the middle with Rashad Broadnax, but they couldn't. And yes, Stockbridge's defense is awfully good at keeping points off the board, but Bainbridge has got to be saying to themselves, we should take some responsibility for our inability as well.
And they must not have felt confident with Harris kicking this football, because if I'm Bainbridge, if you've got a compatible kicker, getting 3 points up on the board in a defensive shootout so far, that's what you need.
That was Desmond Barkley who swallowed him, 6'2", 350 pounds. He is more than double, quite literally more than double the weight of Rashad Broadnax, who's at 165. Hand up to Yasin McKee. A gain of about 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
And
Guy gets the 28.
And Randy Fildengame's had a big game so far. Coming into this game with 98 tackles, he's eclipsed 100 today already. The big playmaker right in the middle of this defense. Number 34.
Stockbridge without a first down tonight. They've gone 3 and out both times. 2nd and 3, and that'll move the chains. Physical running by Steve Bonner. He's got over 500 yards on the year, and he and Markel Ramsey, the twin battering rams for this triple option-based offense in Stockbridge.
Well, in previous drives when McDonald's kept it, he's been swarmed, and the way to fix that is to give the ball up the middle, establish that dive up the middle, so when McDonald finally decides to pull it, he'll have some more space.
As a team, Stockbridge averaging over 225 rushing yards per game. Looking to take a shot. He's open, and it is complete. Quantez Futch took a shot from Caleb McDowell, but the senior hauls in his 8th catch of the year.
The thing that's so dangerous about Stockbridge's offense is, yeah, they run the ball most of the time, but they've got the ability, they've got the quarterback with the arm, and they've got the receivers to take a huge shot down the field if they want to. Keeps the defense on their toes.
Ball will be placed at the 49-yard line. He averages about 20 yards per catch. Well, he picked up 26 on that one. 1st and 10 at the 49.
McKee had nobody covering him up top.
And did they get the timeout or delay a game? And they will say timeout Stockbridge. So that is their first. Scoreless, Stockbridge and Bainbridge. And fans, keep in mind, the ultimate prize will be in play in a week and a half. Can't make it to Mercedes-Benz Stadium next week? Watch all the live action from the GHSA Football Championships on the NFHS Network. Winner of this game will take on the winner of Rome and Warner Robins, happening down in Macon as we speak. Also available on the NFHS Network, part of the Road to State on Facebook Watch. But that game, last we heard, tied 7-7, and we are scoreless here between Stockbridge and Bainbridge. But it's not for lack of opportunities, Jack. Bainbridge has gotten inside the 20 twice. They got inside the 1 and couldn't punch it in on 2 attempts. And on 4th and goal, they fumbled into the end zone, recovered by Stockbridge, so they were not in the, purely figuratively speaking, shadow of their own goalpost as the sun set around 5:30.
Well, if there's a bright side to this for Bainbridge, if there is one, Stockbridge's offense has not touched the ball very much in today's game. Bainbridge has really controlled the time of possession.
They had 0 first downs in the first quarter. They've got 2 here on this drive, which began inside their own 20. McDonald, a little short pass, puts it right at the shoelaces of Steve Bonner.
And Stockbridge is kind of kicking themselves in the shins right now. Yasin McKee was wide open up top before Stockbridge was forced to call a timeout. That could have been a big play if McDonald had recognized that and delivered him the football. And then right there, a pass that should be complete for 4 or 5 yards. Now Stockbridge is forced into a tough situation.
Well, those first 2 drives, Jack, it didn't seem like the Tigers were very interested in going to the air, something they haven't done a whole lot of this year, but did so to great success last week. It was a career game for the junior quarterback, Javon McDonald. He threw 3 of his 4 touchdown passes on the season in that win last Friday. So 2nd down and 10 now. A catch behind the line of scrimmage. One stiff arm coming from Isaiah Taylor, and he is finally shoved out of bounds just inside the Bainbridge 45. This will set up 3rd down. Let's see where he stepped out. Looks like it might be squarely on the 45.
And Taylor, when they go to the air, Isaiah Taylor is the one they want to go to. They want to get him in space. They want to get him going straight down the field. McDonald will find him. He'll make a big play if Bainbridge chooses to leave him open.
Well, instead, they'll mark it at the 43-yard line, a gain of 6, 3rd down and 4. Just over 5.5 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. A man in motion for McDonald. A fake pitch to McKee. He'll go to the right side of the field. It is caught. Again, Quantez Futch ridden down by McDowell, but the senior now with 2 catches on this drive. He had just 2 in the playoffs entering tonight.
And that 2nd down play by Taylor was crucial for the Stockbridge offense. A 3rd and 5, they can choose to go back to their typical option. And right there, they played off that. They went to the play action off of a pitch. They threw it in the flat. And Bainbridge's defense, like any defense really would be on their toes if Stockbridge can do both of those.
It's a gain of 9. 1st and 10, and McDonald in trouble. He's taken down behind the line. A sack for the freshman Zion Bowie.
It's a big play for Bainbridge's defense. It seems like when Stockbridge starts to get momentum, Bainbridge's defense is there to stop them. That first opportunity when Bainbridge stuffed inside the 1 yard line, they had a big 3 and out on Stockbridge's offense that let Bainbridge get the ball back. And right here, another great play on Javon McDonald.
And that was Randy Fillingame, the senior linebacker, who was the first man on the scene. That'll probably go in the books as a tackle for loss.
He's been all over the place tonight. Played an incredible game.
And now a man way back to the 40. Ball on the ground. Was McDonald able to hop back on it? They blew the whistle dead. It's currently just picked up by a Bainbridge Wildcat. But they will say Stockbridge was able to retain possession as McDonald hopped right on it. Ball security has been somewhat of a concern for him so far this season. He's put the ball on the ground now 10 times. He's lost it 6 of those 10 times, but it'll be no gain. 3rd down and 13. They've got to get to the 23.
And Wiley, those numbers are high, but granted, he is leading this triple option attack. A lot of quick reads to make, a lot of snaps from under center, a lot of easy fumbles that can be made.
Looking to go to the air once more. Feels the backside pressure. He'll turn on the jets. Tripped up. He'll be short of the line to gain. A big-time tackle from Anthony Brooks. And with the speed McDonald has, Anthony Brooks, who's described as the fastest linebacker on Bainbridge's defense, makes a big ankle tackle.
Well, and having a mobile quarterback as well, when you drop back to pass, you got to keep eyes on him. They almost get him down right here, but his ability to recognize that blindside pressure, escape from it, and then he's fast once he gets going downhill. A big tackle for Bainbridge to stop him short of the 1st down.
And that was Roman Harrison making the stop. As we said, a commitment to the University of Tennessee.
A defensive tackle chasing him down as well. Impressive.
So it's 4th down, and they're able to complete it. They're going to get a lot more than that. Inside the 10-yard line, ball comes flying loose. Who hopped on it? McKee had it inside the 10, and one of his teammates hops right on it to bail him out. A big-time recovery, and that's Steve Bonner, who picks up the loose football.
And Wiley, I don't know what it is about this end zone, but going inside the 10, going inside the 5, these teams are really trying to give the other team the ball, it seems like.
It was 4th down and 4. They go to McKee, makes the catch for the first, makes one man miss. It's Fillingame. He's been everywhere tonight, prying it loose. And, boy, if it hadn't kicked off the foot of that one defensive back. Instead, it's McDonald who's plugged up behind the line.
And he's the one guy in this situation that Bainbridge has got to keep their eyes on. A quarterback with about 7 yards to go till the end zone. Stockbridge probably going to keep this ball on the ground at least 1 or 2 more plays.
This was a drive that began on the Stockbridge 18-yard line. They converted already 1 3rd down, a 4th down as well. Boy, they have found new life here in the 2nd quarter after being unable to move the football in the 1st period. Ball on the 7, and whistles before the snap. Looks like we got a timeout, and it'll be Stockbridge, their 2nd.
Right there, it looked like Stockbridge was trying to get up to the line. They come out in the wishbone, which is something that we haven't seen Stockbridge come out. So it seemed like they had something that Bainbridge didn't know that they knew about Bainbridge. But once again, Stockbridge lining up to the line, having to burn another timeout. Can't really communicate and get the snap off inside the 10-yard line.
Stockbridge, as an offense, like we said, they are run heavy, no question about that. But they lost so much talent from a year ago, Jack, and losing 25 seniors for the first time in a long time, not having a Division I Power 5 prospect. They still do have one player. That would be Desmond Barkley, who's committed to South Alabama. But for the Tigers in the green tonight, they've got a lot of gaps to fill this year. They lost Brenton Cox, 5-star player going to Georgia. They called him the best player in school history. They also lost Marquez Ezzard, a receiver, going to Miami. James Ohonba going to Michigan State. Nazir Greer going to Wake. I mean, that's 4 Power 5 players right there away from this team. And while this group may be the first ones not to win a region title in the last 5 years, reaching the semifinals is as far as any of those highly touted players we just spoke of, and they've got a chance to go to the state final, first time in school history. But right now it's 2nd and goal. Ball's at the 7. McDonald's looking to pass. Goes to the back of the end zone, and a great catch made by Carrick Reese. Carrick Reese, the secret weapon for Stockbridge's offense. And with 1 minute and 33 seconds left to go in the first half, he's the one who breaks our scoreless tie.
And Reese is the guy we see on the other side of the football making plays. And here, like you said, Wiley, Stockbridge's secret weapon, they're kind of stashing him. A play-action look. I think Bainbridge thought he was blocking, and he's able to slip out and make a great catch.
He had just one offensive touch prior to that catch. It was a 20-yard touchdown pass he caught against Dutchtown, and Stockbridge's only loss. But he has led the Tigers to a first-half lead. The kick was short, but a flag first. And whistles blew the play dead. It was a false start on Stockbridge. And because it was blown dead, they will have the option to re-kick it or be required to re-kick it. We'll back him up.
And that's going to play in Stockbridge's favor, even though it was a penalty against them, because the original PAT was missed. So they get a second chance right here, even though it was their false start.
An 82-yard drive after Bainbridge stalled again inside the Stockbridge 20. This is Marco Trio on for the extra point. And it is no good. And a little miscommunication there between Trejo and his holder, Jalen Jackson, the backup quarterback. But the story right now, Carrick Reese, he's given Stockbridge a 6-0 lead. He's touched the ball twice in offense this year. He's gotten in the end zone both times. He's got pretty good hands here, doesn't he, Jack?
It's a great catch in the back of the end zone, reaching out full extension, sliding down while he does so. It's a big play for Stockbridge and really a big drive for Stockbridge. These teams have really been able to put together good drives, move the ball, but it was finally time for a team to get the ball in the end zone. And this time, Stockbridge able to do so.
And he's just been another guy for Stockbridge who, Coach, you say jump, he says how high. He moved from defensive line to linebacker this year. He was an all-region defensive lineman a year ago. As he's shouting out his mother, it looks like a little bit of lip reading going on up here in the booth, but some well-deserved water. And fired up to get a chance to make a big impact here in the semifinals. But, again, he accepted that change to linebacker, made a couple plays offensively. He's also their punter. I mean, he'll look for any opportunity to get on the field. And right now we'll see if Stockbridge opts to kick it to Bainbridge. They did not on the opening kick of the game. And this one will be fielded by Bryce Worthy. And up back as he's taken down by John Prince. It's now 1 minute and 26. Let's see if Bainbridge can go to work.
So many things about that last touchdown drive were big for Stockbridge. And one of those things is the fact that in a defensive battle, scoring first is key, because now this puts all the pressure on Bainbridge, especially their offense, to try to put something together going into the half. It's going to speed up Hawkins. It's going to speed up this entire offense. And most importantly, it's going to put the pressure on them.
So ball to 29, 2 timeouts available for Bainbridge. 2 timeouts, 1st and 10. They've moved the ball well so far, but have no points to show for it. And the Stockbridge defense will have their ears pinned back. Hutch has time. And it's complete. And it's Jalen Peterson who got caught running the wrong way. And he's taken down at the knees by Sherman Olerholm.
Still a positive gain on first down. You've got to give a lot of credit to that Bainbridge offensive line. After Stockbridge had a big start to the game on the defensive front, Bainbridge's offensive line has really controlled the line of scrimmage, especially on passing downs.
It's a gain of 6, but by the time they snap it, it will have cost them 30 seconds. And here's the give up the middle. McDowell collides into an official all the way down to midfield. 50 seconds on the clock, and it will stop as they reset the chains. What a burst by McDowell.
Stockbridge getting a little help with the 12th man on the field right there. Officially, just nothing you can do about that, but an unlucky break for Bainbridge.
The clock is now rolling, 41 seconds, 40 seconds. Ball at midfield, still 2 mites in the pocket, 2 timeouts in the pocket of Bainbridge. Hawkins is in trouble. McDowell lost his footing and can't make the catch. Clock will stop with 33.1.
And Hawkins really had to get rid of that ball right there. Lawson Chandler got beat off the edge.
Look at this run from Caleb McDowell. He collided with the umpire. And McDowell fired up about it. I think it's safe to say that the defense for Stockbridge appreciates the assist from the officiating crew. That was Jalen Johnson on the tackle, by the way, as this catch is hauled in. Tackle made by Carrick Reese. That's Jalen Peterson again. They've gone to him a lot. He had just 1 reception in the postseason and just 1 since October 5th. But they've gone to him a couple times tonight, and after a modest gain to the 46, it'll be 3rd down and 6, 26 seconds on the clock. Again, 26 seconds on the clock as a timeout has been called.
And you're seeing big number 34, Carrick Reese. We just saw him a few minutes ago catch a great pass, get into the end zone, drinking some water, waving at his mom, and then right here making a big play, keeping Bainbridge inbounds, forcing them to use a timeout, limiting their opportunities, limiting the amount of plays they can run to try to get into the end zone, even this thing up.
Stockbridge will receive the second half kickoff. They won the toss and deferred here in the first half, and the Tiger defense, it's been their strength all season long. They've got a lot of experience up front. Carrick Reese over 100 tackles. Yet to see Steve Eson's presence felt. He wears number 53. He's got a team-high 19 tackles for loss. And you also notice he's the shortest player on that defensive line, but you know what they say. Football sometimes comes down to who can go the lowest. A lunging catch. Did Spivey make it? Yes, he did. Ball at the 37. And Clayton Wilson fired up. In fact, they'll say it's incomplete now. Beg your pardon. The initial spot looked like he may have caught it.
Yeah, while I was about to say, Spivey dropped that ball right after he came down with it. So either he was very confident that he caught that ball or he didn't.
So now it's 4th down and 5. 21 seconds remaining here in the first half. Bainbridge does have 1 timeout left.
This is risky for Bainbridge. If they don't get this right here, Stockbridge is going to have 1 or 2 plays to try to get down there and kick a field goal, or maybe just try to throw a Hail Mary into the end zone.
Now a timeout called by Bainbridge. Their 3rd and final timeout. So that'll make things awfully tough to be able to go much past this play. You'd likely have to run up and spike the football, and then depending on how close you are, you can opt for a field goal or a shot towards the end zone. Keep in mind, coming up at halftime, we've got our What's Trending in High School Football around the country presented by Max Preps. We'll have that at half, as well as a performance by a band or two, hopefully. Take a look at some stats and get you primed for the rest of this Friday night in high school football here in the state of Georgia. The Stockbridge Tigers, number 6, favored by 6 points according to the Maxwell projection system, taking on the Bainbridge Bearcats, 8-5. Neither of these teams won their region, and so a coin flip was had, and Stockbridge clearly winning it, playing here on their home field. And Jack, I think Coach Jeff Littleton had the same thought you did. It could be risky to go for it and not get it and give Stockbridge the opportunity to try and steal a quick 3 points. Here's the punt from Caleb Harris. And it's fielded by McKee. He's awfully dangerous up the sideline and runs into a few traffic cones. And on the stop, bringing down McKee, that would have been Vic Wimberly, offensive lineman, also on special teams for Bainbridge. So the clock currently reads 11 seconds. And it was a nice return, but still only out to the Stockbridge, or the Stockbridge 40.
And while Bainbridge technically lost the coin toss, you get a sense that some of them actually want to be on the road. Less distractions, more focus for the players and the coaches. And being on the road this time of the year, especially for Bainbridge, not exactly a bad thing.
It's worked out pretty well for them. They've won 2 in a row on the road in the postseason. But they will head to the locker room trailing 6-0. A defensive stalemate the Tigers with a 6-0 lead thanks to the touchdown reception from Carrick Reese that punctuated an 82-yard drive to give Stockbridge a lead in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Bainbridge and Stockbridge, Class 5A state semifinals. You're watching the NFHS Network Road to State on Facebook Watch. And now a look at what's trending in high school football around the country, presented by Max Preps.
It's a packed night in high school football. It's a packed Max Prep show now on CBS Sports HQ. I'm Casey Kiernan. Thanks for watching. Champions will be crowned all across the country tonight. Some of the best players in the game on the field. We are here to break it all down for you. Let's start with the top 10 of the excellent 25. Number 1, St. John Bosco, and number 3, Mater Dei, both demolished previously undefeated schools to set up their third straight championship game. Also a rematch from this year. Allen is number 2. They've got a playoff game against Rockwall tonight. IMG's only loss was to Mater Dei. IMG there at 4. Number 5, Colquitt County plays Gwinnett. 7A, Georgia State title game. Number 6, St. Francis of Maryland, 9-0 after beating West Toronto Prep. Number 7, Miami Central on to the third round of the Florida 6A playoffs. Number 8, St. Louis is in the D1 Open Championship. De La Salle there advanced to the Open Division Championship in Northern California. And number 10, St. Thomas Aquinas faces Dwyer in the 7A quarterfinals. It is a packed Friday, and we've got Zach Poff here, editor of football for Max Preps, now joining the show. So, Zach, undefeated St. John Bosco against 11-2 Mater Dei for the D1 title there in SoCal. How do these two match up again?
Yeah, man. You know, the first time they played, it was a 41-18 dub for St. John Bosco. And I really think that was good for Mater Dei because it kind of humbled them a little bit, made them think, okay, we're not on our own level. So they've really gotten better since that loss. So I really think this game's going to be a little tighter, but they might have had a little too many injuries. Miles Morales out. He's arguably the best offensive lineman in 2020. And I really think Bosco is going to be able to take advantage of that tonight.
Yeah, the Braves beat the Monarchs earlier in the season, but this is the third straight time they've met in the title game. Right now, they are tied 1-1. Round 3 is tonight. And obviously, a lot of eyes will be on DJ Uwangalele. He's the top 2020 quarterback recruit. But you think that he's the best regardless of class. Why?
I mean, just look at his numbers this year, man. He's thrown for 3,500 yards, 47 touchdowns. He's got a completion percentage around 70%, and he's doing it against big-time opponents, which is, really remarkable. You see other quarterbacks with, maybe better numbers, but they're not doing it against the competition that DJ Uwangalele is doing it against. And the last time he played Mater Dei, he had 5 touchdowns, and a lot of people say Mater Dei's got the best secondary in high school football. And just look at last week. Oaks Christian, 12-0. Big-time defense. DJ had 6 touchdowns and only 4 incompletions. So what he's doing as a junior quarterback is off the charts. And, I got him number 1 regardless of class for sure.
And you saw it down there at the bottom of the screen. Our crystal ball favors USC, which is funny because the guy who's going to be opposite the field tonight, Bryce Young for Mater Dei, also leaning USC. Don't know how that's going to work out. We're going to ask Barton Simmons about that later on in the show. So let's talk about this game tonight. If Bosco does win again, where would you rank this Bosco team historically there for that school?
Man, you're trying to get me in trouble with a lot of kids on the team right now, but I'm probably going to still side with that 2013 team led with, Josh Rosen during his junior year. They had Sean McGrew, who's now balling at UW, big-time offensive line with Damian Mama. I'll probably go with that Bosco team number 1 all-time still, but this team this year is right there. It's 1A, 1B type of thing, but, that Bosco team also went into the championship game and snapped De La Salle's 40-game winning streak that year. and Josh Rosen was only a junior. DJ's only a junior too, and I do actually believe that DJ Uiagalelei at the end of the day will be a better quarterback on Sundays than Josh Rosen is.
Wow, that's a big statement right there. But even despite that statement, Zach, you are leaning the 2013 team with Josh Rosen. Good news for St. John Bosco fans, though. They do get DJ there at least another year. This game kicking off 6:30 local, 10:30 Eastern. Zach Poff, thanks for your time, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we've looked at the excellent 25, 1 through 10. Let's get back to the list now. Take a look at 11 through 20. North Shore from Houston is 11. Looking on down the list, number 14, Warren Central from Indianapolis held off Center Grove 27-20. They advanced to the Indiana 6A state title game. There's Centennial there at 15. You see 12-1. That one just happened in the SoCal semifinal. Mater Dei absolutely ruled them, undefeated previously. There's Colerain down there at number 19 out of the state of Ohio. Still undefeated. They have a big game tonight, title game. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's take a look at 21 through 25 now. Some familiar names there, 21 through 23. Then we have two newcomers. Gonzaga from Washington, D.C. had that awesome moment, the Hail Mary to win their title game. They made HQ top plays this week. And number 25, Bergen Catholic Crusaders, 10-1 after they beat Don Bosco Prep. A lot of exciting games on tonight. Notable games going on around the country. Georgia, Indiana, New Jersey, Hawaii, Ohio all have title games. Let's look deeper into these, and we'll begin in Georgia. The 7A playoffs. It's a rematch of last year's 7A title game. Gwinnett won 19-17 on a last-second field goal last year. They will face off tonight again at 7:30 Eastern. Then in Indiana, it's the 6A state title game. Carmel and Warren Central. That championship, that one kicks off at 7. Carmel, they are hot, riding a 5-game winning streak. Warren Central scoring over 50 points per game this season. Can they slow them down? Warren Central undefeated. We'll see. After that, we've got New Jersey, non-public Group 4 title game. Bergen Catholic and St. Joseph Regional. It is the toughest playoff bracket to win in New Jersey. St. Joseph, also a 5-game winning streak. Bergen Catholic holding opponents to under 13 points per game, a stingy defense. Next up, Ohio semifinals. Defending D1 state champs Pickering Central will take on 13-0 Colerain in the semifinals. Been one of the most dominant teams in the country this year has Colerain. They put a running clock on 11 straight opponents, including all 3 playoff opponents. We'll see. And then Hawaii, Mililani against St. Louis, our number 8 team in the excellent 25. This one kicks off, if you're up early, 1:30 a.m. Eastern. And that's it for the notable games tonight, but we've got a lot more coming up. We talked to Barton Simmons about all the recruiting storylines around the biggest schools and get his thoughts on St. John Bosco against Mater Dei. Stick around.
Welcome back to Stockbridge, Georgia. The Tigers with a 6-0 lead over the Bainbridge Bearcats as you take a look at the Bainbridge Bearcat Band wrapping up their performance here in the jungle. And they've got a little more in store, perhaps. Let's take a look. So that wraps up the Bearcat performance. They traveled 220 miles to be here tonight. They traveled to Beaufort, Georgia, even further, close to 300 miles up that way from the southwest corner of the state. So happy to have them here. And now it is the home Stockbridge Tiger Band. Let's take a look and see what they have in store here at halftime. Again, Stockbridge, a 6-0 lead thanks to a late score in the first half. That was the Stockbridge Tiger Band. A strong performance, much like their football team, who leads 6-0 at half over the Bainbridge Bearcats. We'll be back in just a moment with a few first-half highlights. You're watching the NFHS Network Road to State on Facebook Watch.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At NFHSLearn.com, you can find over 60 courses for coaches, administrators, officials, parents, students, and performing arts programs, including over 25 free courses such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. For more information, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
And welcome back to the Jungle Tiger Stadium in Stockbridge, Georgia, Old Conyers Road, here just south of Atlanta. Wiley Ballard joined by Jack Hunter. Stockbridge, a 6-0 lead over Bainbridge. And Jack, let's take a look at some first half highlights, beginning with Bainbridge in their second drive. Boy, they were moving the football awfully well and nearly had a game-changing play here from the Stockbridge 44, but Jack, a key penalty takes a few points off the board here as you take a look at it. This is Quade Hawkins looking to take the shot to Aaron Spivey. Breaks through one tackle and 2-3 more tackles and gets all the way to the end zone, but it was called back because of a block in the back. So with that, Bainbridge able to keep things moving all the way down inside the 10. This is second and goal, and it is caught by A.J. Cooper. They say he's right just outside the goal line. You say, okay, they didn't give it to him. So third and goal. Well, quarterback sneak, didn't get it. Steve Eson with the big stop. So now it's for all the marbles. Fourth and goal. They line up in shotgun, Jack. And how about this play by number 99 in green, John Prince? Look at him. Right past his man. Not only do they stop him, they force a fumble, and Steve Eson recovers it, brings it all the way out to the 20-yard line. In fact, it was 1st and 5 at the 25, but Stockbridge still went 3 and out. They give the ball back to Bainbridge. They march down the field, now in line for a field goal on 4th and 3. They decide to fake it. The pitch to Rashad Broadnex, and he is quite eaten alive by Desmond Barkley, who had more than 2 times his weight. That's 320 pounds against 165, and a good show of sportsmanship there by Broadnex. So Stockbridge with some momentum. They're finally moving the ball on offense, and it's McDonald who's lined up in shotgun looking to go to the air.
Does a good job of escaping the pressure right there and picking up a substantial gain right there. Wouldn't set them up for a first down, though.
That made it 4th and short, trying to keep the drive alive. Who do they go to? No surprise, Yasin McKee, who not only gets the first down, but gets all the way inside the 10-yard line. Ball comes loose, but hopping back on it, that is Steve Bonner. And then now, going with the secret weapon, Carrick Reese, just his second offensive touch of the season. Both have been touchdown catches, and with 1 minute and 33 seconds remaining, Stockbridge takes the lead 6-0. The PAT would be blocked, and that is where we stand at the moment. We are roughly 3 minutes away from the start of the second half here in Stockbridge. It's the Tigers 6, the Bearcats nothing. The Tigers looking for their first ever trip to the state finals. You're watching the NFHS Network Road to State on Facebook Watch.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At NFHSLearn.com, you can find over 60 courses for coaches, administrators, officials, parents, students, and performing arts programs, including over 25 free courses such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. For more information, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
Stockbridge 6, Bainbridge 0. That's your halftime score. Let's take a look at some halftime stats as we've got the sheet in front of us. We'll point out some of the bigger numbers. The first thing that jumps out here, Jack, is neither team has more than 30 yards rushing. Stockbridge with 30, Bainbridge with 28. The real difference in the yardage category has been Bainbridge's ability to pass. They have thrown for 119 yards as Hawkins is 13 for 21. And on the whole, Bainbridge has outgained Stockbridge by 53 yards, and they've run 12 more offensive plays. The difference, of course, is they've gotten in the red zone twice and come away with 0 points. Meanwhile, for Stockbridge, on their one red zone possession, it was an 82-yard drive, and Javon McDonald, 5 for 8 in the first half with that touchdown pass to Carrick Reese. So that's kind of the story from our end. Again, one turnover. It was a fumble inside the goal line on inside the 1 on 4th and goal for Bainbridge. That's a look at the key numbers from the first half. Individually, perhaps the most effective Bainbridge player has been Jalen Peterson, who's got 5 catches on 23 yards. For context there, Jack, he wears number 6 in white. He had just 11 receptions on the season and just 1 in the past month and a half. As you see, there is Quade Hawkins lining up. And we can take a look at now some scores from around the state. As we've got Warner Robins and Rome. Warner Robins with a 21-14 lead in the 5A bracket. And there it is. It's the haves and the have-nots. That's the way we've kind of tried to build it. As Rome and Warner Robins, they've won 4 state titles since 1982 combined. Rome's back-to-back defending state champs. They've won 40 in a row, but they trail 21-14 at half at the MAC. That's Warner Robins' home field. Meanwhile, Bainbridge and Stockbridge, Bearcats do have 1 state title. That was in 1982. Stockbridge has never been to the game. So, again, the haves and the have-nots. As we look around, some other scores from across Class 7A now. Archer with a surprising lead on Colquitt County. Beg your pardon. Archer should be the one who's advanced to play Colquitt. They lead 7-6 despite being projected to lose by 20 down in South Georgia. Lowndes, meanwhile, was a modest 2-point favorite at Milton, but it is the Eagles with a 21-0 lead over Lowndes at halftime. So those are your 7A scores. We've got both teams on the field ready to begin the second half. The Tigers will receive the opening kick. They have a 6-0 lead. One of these two teams going to the state finals, crossing that final bridge to get to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Bearcats have been road warriors all season long. 2-0 in the playoffs on the road. Took down number 5 Wayne County 2 weeks ago and took down the inconquerable Buford Wolves, snapping a 35-game home playoff winning streak for the Wolves. They've got a rally from behind as the kick will be handled inside the 5-yard line and taken forward. Here come the Tigers down the right sideline, across to the 50, and finally ridden out of bounds. What a return from Quantez Futch. Futch, the senior, gives the Tigers great starting field position.
We talk about these guys that are dangerous on special teams. Usually we talk about, for Stockbridge, is McKee. But right there you see Futch making a big play. This drive for Stockbridge is going to be huge because it's a one-possession game right now, and the way both of these defenses are playing, a 2-possession game, Stockbridge will be feeling good about themselves.
So it'll be at the 50-yard line, 1st and 10. McDonald under center, Bonner behind him. 3 receivers. McDonald bluffs a screen. He's looking to take a deep shot, headed that way, and it's batted away by Caleb McDowell, covering Yasin McKee. McDowell didn't have a whole lot of success offensively, but there's a sophomore and a freshman teaming up to cover the senior, and that's where the Bearcats might be a little vulnerable on paper. Their secondary, extremely young, but plenty of talent.
What they're vulnerable in, they stick 2 guys right there on McKee, and a great play by McDowell, breaking that pass up, diving to break that out of McKee's hands. just a really big break for Bainbridge right there, forcing now a 2nd down and 10.
McKee is the big play threat, averaging over 20 yards per reception this year. McDonald, the pitch over the head of Bonner. He can't find the football, and it is recovered by Bonner. It spun around on his head. It's like watching a catcher trying to catch a fly ball. It's a lonely feeling. That ball loose, and fortunately for Bonner, the Bearcats couldn't find it either.
Seems like a miscommunication of a play or just a poorly executed play by Stockbridge right there. They were trying to pitch it to a back, hit him right in the face mask, unable to corral it. Really, Bainbridge had an opportunity to pick up that football, but everyone seemed to lose it.
So after a loss of 3, it is 3rd and 13. Stockbridge had the ball 3 times in the first half. 2 of those drives, they went 3 and out. The other, they went 82 yards for the game's only touchdown.
These are the drives Bainbridge wants to be in as a defense.
3rd and 13. McDonald's going to turn it up and run, and he's wrapped up by the waist. Anthony Brooks, the senior linebacker, making the tackle.
This Bainbridge defense is very fast. You see McDonald getting downhill, going very fast, and Bainbridge is able to do a good job of tripping him up before the 1st down.
So on 3 plays, Stockbridge gains 3 yards. And if it weren't for that big return from Futch, Bainbridge might have pretty good field position. Instead, it's Carrick Reese on to boot it away. Caleb McDowell on to receive the punt. Signals for a fair catch. And he'll make it around his own 15-yard line. So that's mission number 1 accomplished for Bainbridge, getting the ball back. But a long ways to go, 85 yards in front of him.
And Bainbridge has shown that they've been able to drive down the field, which is contrary to a lot of what people thought coming into the game with this big Stockbridge defense. Now for Bainbridge, this key going into the second half, they just got to get points on the board. They've got to finish these drives. They're doing a good job of starting them, maintaining them. They've just got to get points on the board, preferably get into the end zone.
This Bearcats team trying to take down their 4th consecutive top 10 opponent. The last Bainbridge team to defeat 3 top 10 teams, which they've already done, would be the 1982 state champs. This is the give to Rashad Broadnax. Cuts it back up the middle. It takes a whole host of Tigers to bring him down. Right on top of him, Chris Parson, who's really come alive in the linebacking core. Wears number 7. And he's got over 30 tackles his last 5 games. He's been a big part of the defense tonight.
And Stockbridge has really been a team effort up front. They've done a pretty good job of silencing the running game between Broadnax and McDowell for the most part, where Bainbridge has really exposed Stockbridge's defenses in the back half in the secondary. Hawkins has made some good passes tonight.
Opening drive of the second half for Bainbridge after forcing a 3 and out. Little pop pass is complete to Spivey. Oh, my goodness. And he is wrestled down by Carrick Reese. Ball does come loose, but clearly down beforehand. That'll set up a 3rd down and short. They've got it at the 24. Makes it 3rd and 1.
And Reese is just one of those guys. He's a special defender. He's super fast. He can get to those players like Spivey who love to get to the outside, who love to try to break something loose. And then look at this drive right here, pushing his feet back, pushing him inside the 10-yard line. Reese is a special player.
You can see the tight end, Bowen Dodson, wears number 44. He had his man sealed off. He looks behind him and said, what happened? Well, one of the other 11 didn't do their job. This time it's Hawkins looking to pass. It's complete. Secured again. And making the catch this time, that'd be A.J. Cooper. He left the game with an apparent injury on his lower body, but he's back on the field. A good sign for the Bearcats.
Another great pass by Hawkins right there. Coming to this game for Bainbridge, you would think after McDowell's 94-yard performance last week versus Buford that they'd be trying to feed him some more, but they really haven't had to because Quade Hawkins has just made some really nice throws right here. Once again on 3rd down, putting it right on the money for Cooper to go upfield and get the 1st down.
Now 14 for 22 through the year is Hawkins. 122 yards. They give it to McDowell, who'll try and string it around the right side, tumbling forward as he falls out of bounds. Oralholm with the stop. And Caleb McDowell, boy, I mean, this whole community with Bainbridge has been through a lot. Hurricane Michael hit them extremely hard the weekend of October 12th, which was actually their bye week. But they were out of school for 2 weeks thanks to the damage. They said it was a Category 4 hurricane by the time it made landfall. Or rather, once it reached Bainbridge, it was Category 5 in Mexico City, Florida. But it traveled 100 miles inland and was still 120-mile-per-hour winds. But the whole town gone through a lot. Many folks lost power for close to 3 weeks. A false start will go against Bainbridge here. Instead of second down and 7, they'll back them up a good bit to the 30. That'll make it 2nd and 12. But Caleb McDowell in particular, not only does he have the hurricane and all those problems impacting him, his mother passed away over 4 weeks ago. His younger brother on the sidelines tonight, along with his father, Derek, who was a former Bainbridge Bearcat. And certainly impossible to try and put yourself in the place of what Caleb McDowell's been going through, but this run in the playoffs has meant a lot for him. As this pass is batted away, makes it 3rd down and 12. And what can you say about the kid, Jack? I mean, going through so much. This is number 5 in white. And not only has he responded well, but he scored 8 touchdowns in the last 3 games. He's almost single-handedly willed them through these games, including 3 against Buford, who hadn't lost a home playoff game in 35 consecutive tries.
And Wiley, this guy's a sophomore too, just putting it all on the line. He scored touchdowns in 3 different ways in these past 3 weeks in the playoffs. 5 straight games with a touchdown. In the last 5 games, he has 9 rushing touchdowns. It's just an incredible story, incredible player.
3rd down and 12. Hawkins complete. Spivey hunting for room. He's got the first down across the 40 before he is suplexed. A wrestling move pulled out by Jalen Jackson, the free safety. And again, that'll move the chains. It was awfully close. And Spivey's going to come up a little bit lame. I can't blame him if that left hip's a little sore.
And that hit might be the highlight you end up seeing later, but Spivey's play right here, just breaking some tackles, using his speed to get forward and really just putting his body on the line, trying to move those chains. He's able to do so.
He got exactly 12 yards. I spoke too soon. I thought he would have that 42 easily, but what a tackle by Jackson. Meanwhile, here's McDowell falling forward and stretching out. He'll move the chains once more.
And really the key for Bainbridge right now is they're establishing a balance between the run and the pass. Stockbridge is still on their toes because Bainbridge can either run the ball very effectively with McDowell, and most importantly, Hawkins is really completing his passes. So Bainbridge is really moving the ball well right now, and once we start getting down towards the 30 or the 20, if they get there, that's when we start trying to open our eyes, see if they can start finishing the drive.
And this has got to be difficult to believe for any of the folks who saw Bainbridge earlier in the year and haven't followed them since. I mean, they're a completely different team in the second half of the season. As this pass complete to Cooper. Taken down by Clayton Wilson.
And for Bainbridge tonight, A.J. Cooper, Aaron Spivey, Jalen Peterson, 3 guys who have made a big impact at wide receiver. They're pushing Hawkins' passing stats through the roof because a lot of these passes are very short, and these receivers, Cooper and Spivey specifically, have really been doing a great job of catching the passes and turning upfield, getting more yards, getting good yardage situations.
Halfway through the 3rd quarter, a 6-yard catch sets up 2nd and 4. And McDowell doesn't go down easily, but Carrick Reese grabs him by the shoulders and pushes him down to the turf. Sets up 3rd down and medium. Loss of a couple yards. It'll be 3rd and 6.
Going back, I fully expect Bainbridge to pass the ball right here, and that's something they felt confident in, first of all. I would look for A.J. Cooper, Jalen Peterson, those have been their targets down the field. And if they choose to go short, Aaron Spivey, if he's able to come back in the game after that hit, looks like he's not on the field though, so Cooper and Peterson are going to be the guys.
Oh, and now a timeout called by Bainbridge. 6-0 Stockbridge up front. And this could be a critical timeout. It means Bainbridge really wants to try and keep this drive alive. They're going to have to pay for it with a timeout. In the meantime, fans, don't forget you can watch this game not only on the NFHS network, but also on the Facebook Watch tab as part of the Road to State, brought to you by the NFHS network. This is the Road to State on Facebook Watch. And, Jack, we had our keys to the game at the top of our broadcast. Just before we begin, let's take a look. What are we seeing thus far? Anything stick out to you?
Well, Bainbridge is completing their keys to the game. They've had a few explosive plays on offense, and they've really been playing in the backfield as well for the most part. Now, Stockbridge's 82-yard drive at the end of the half, they weren't really, but throughout the entire first half, Bainbridge's defense was playing very well. Stockbridge has coughed the ball up a few times tonight. They've gotten fortunate that Bainbridge hasn't been able to recover, and really Stockbridge hasn't sent much of a message. They've been in this game, but you would think that Stockbridge, favored in this game, 12-1, would come out with a little more punch, but you've got to give a lot of credit to Bainbridge, who's really withstood it.
They got to get to the 38. This pass complete to Michael Ryan. He's got first down yardage. The junior who makes his 7th catch of the postseason. He has just 11 on the year, but a flag and a block in the back, says head official Todd Downs, and that'll move the Bearcats way back.
And once again, although this play's going to come back, just a next man up mentality for Bainbridge. You've got Spivey going down. Michael Ryan with 10 catches on the season comes in and makes a big catch right there. But unfortunately, it's going to come back for the Bearcats.
Yeah, we've seen a few surprising players make some big catches for Bainbridge tonight. Braxton Johnson had a critical 3rd down catch on 3rd and long. So after the spot foul, it'll be 3rd down and 9. Ball at the Stockbridge 47. They've got to get to the Tiger 38. And it is intercepted. Rising up Orlholm. He's down the sideline and ridden down by Caleb McDowell. Sherman Orlholm with the interception, his 2nd of the season, and just like that, the Tigers not only get the football back, but they've got it inside the Bearcat 30.
Looked like McDowell was a little slow getting up after that tackle, but a huge play for the Stockbridge defense. On a 3rd down, the Bearcats needed to pick up this 1st down, throwing into double coverage and reaching up. Stockbridge finally able to get that interception that they've been so close to getting in a big return, setting them inside the 30-yard line. Stockbridge has got great field position to attempt to get this to a 2-possession game.
That is the 12th interception of the season for Quade Hawkins. Meanwhile, for the Tiger defense, it is their 10th. They're +2 in the turnover column tonight, and with 4.5 minutes, they have a chance to make this a 2-score game. And now a timeout, Stockbridge. So both teams having burned through 1 timeout thus far. And one more look at this interception. It was pretty clear Hawkins had 1 man in mind. That was Jalen Peterson on what was an out route, button hook, depends how you classify it. Had him right near the sideline, never looked at another option, and Orlholm was all over it. He leads the team in breakups, but that time able to haul it in. A nice tackle made by Caleb McDowell. Well, we've seen Stockbridge's defense come up huge time and time again, Jack. Now it's up to the Bearcat defense to make a stand.
And they've been doing that today as well. It seems like when Stockbridge is on the verge of really busting this game open, getting this momentum, Bainbridge has really held solid on defense. They've done a great job on defense throughout this entire first half. Only 6 points for this Stockbridge offense, who scored 48 points last week. So both defenses playing very well. Stockbridge's defense with another big play there.
So here come the Tigers, driving towards the north end zone. And this time the catch is made, but Randy Fillingame, boy, he has been the player of the game for the Bearcats defense. He's seemingly been everywhere, all over the field. That time making the tackle to force a loss of 1. Catch was made by Markel Ramsey.
To be honest, Weil, I think he's the defensive player of the game for both of these teams. He's been all over the place for this Bainbridge defense, in the backfield, back deep in the cover, secondary coverage. This guy has been all over the place, making tackles, chasing quarterbacks down, receivers, you name it. He's had a big night.
He was an outside linebacker a year ago. Now a middle linebacker. He's playing sideline to sideline. Plunging ahead, McDonald. And the man wrapped around his hips. Tahari Tate.
Bainbridge had what they wanted on defense. They had Anthony Brooks right there to try to get down McDonald, but McDonald is very shifty. He's able to break a tackle and get a few yards when there was not a lot available at first.
Well, on Stockbridge's touchdown drive, we saw them go for it on 4th and 4 from around the same field position. Presently, it's 3rd and 6. But they could consider this two-down territory. Marco Trejo, their kicker, his long on the year is 20. He's 1 for 1. McDonald, he's got a man deep. Instead, he's going to run with it. Now he's under duress. Throws it up and out of play. Could have been a disastrous decision, but he does get rid of the football, and now a flag comes out after the play from the head official, Todd Downs himself. What do we have? Intentional grounding. They'll say it did not get back to the line of scrimmage, and that is critical. From a position of 4th and 6 where you feel certainly will go for it. Now the Tigers are backed up, and they'll have to bring on the punt team.
Once again, a big-time play for Bainbridge when they need it. This defense tonight, no matter what the offense has been doing, has been able to get to the quarterback. That's forcing McDowell to throw that pass right there.
And I think McDonald is being told by his head coach, why did you not take the shot to the end zone? And perhaps McDonald sits there and says, well, it's 3rd and 6. I trust my legs. I can pick up the modest gain, but he did not take the shot, and therefore they will have to punt. So give a credit to the Bearcat defense with another sack as the fair catch is called for and made by Caleb McDowell. Time and time again, Jack, against this Stockbridge defense, you're not supposed to be able to survive 2 trips inside the red zone with no points. Another 2 trips into plus territory and no points. But give a lot of credit to the Bearcat defense, who has given their offense time and opportunity after opportunity to try and give themselves the lead. And here they go again, just over 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
And really the difference between Bainbridge's offense and defense is Bainbridge's defense has been able to finish out drives. On 3rd down, on 4th down, they've been able to get off the field. Bainbridge's offense, on the other hand, has been able to have those good 1st and 2nd downs, or a good initial part of the drives. They just haven't been able to finish.
So they'll work from inside their own 15, ball batted up in the air, and it's caught. Offensive lineman makes the catch, ball comes loose. Stockbridge has it. Steve Eson with his 2nd fumble recovery. The catch was made by the left tackle, Vic Wimberly, not used to holding the football. And Steve Eson, his 2nd fumble recovery of the night. And boy, another mistake by the Bainbridge offense. They are now -3 in turnovers today.
That was a great play by Eson right there, staying heads up even though the play was breaking down and able to recognize that, hey, that's a tackle that just caught that pass and being able to rip it out.
So the breakup will go to Stockbridge's Bryce Bass, and there is a flag on the play, but they will pick it up and say 1st and 10 Stockbridge, and now Bainbridge has got to hold on for dear life right now.
The way their defense is playing, you'd expect that they're just after 2 minutes ago forcing McDonald into an intentional grounding situation. You got to expect that Bainbridge's defense has some momentum. It's just a question of when Stockbridge is going to break through at this point, because when you give Stockbridge the ball at the 21-yard line, your offense does, Bainbridge's defense, or like any defense, can only hold up for so long.
Well, 2 turnovers have yielded 0 points thus far for the Tiger offense. But this 3rd one gives them the ball, as you said, Jack, on the 21. McDonald right back onto the field leading the troops. He'll keep it himself. Bounces off one tackler between the hashes. He's taken down inside the 15. First man to hit him was Ralph Register.
And part of the reason why Stockbridge only has 6 points up on the board today is they have not been able to really establish much of an option game. A lot of their big plays have come through passing plays. So being able to pick up a 7 on 1st down with McDonald like that, it really gets the ball rolling. It allows Stockbridge to continue running the option.
2nd down and 3. McDonald. He's not afraid of contact. The junior, 6'1", 180. This is the 4th consecutive season the Tigers have had a different starting quarterback, and with McDonald only a junior, they will have him return a year from now.
And that's huge because McDonald does everything for this team. This system requires the quarterback to do everything for this team. Be the commander of this option. Make big plays with your feet while on passing downs. Being able to make great passes. It's not an easy task to be a quarterback as a Stockbridge Tiger, and McDonald has done a great job in his first season.
3rd and 1 from the 12.
Stockbridge got to go up the middle with this right here on 3rd and 1.
McDonald heeds your advice, Jack. 1st and goal, Stockbridge.
And something that Bainbridge was able to do on a 3rd and short, for Bainbridge it was 4th and short, is just line up under center and get a good push into the end zone. And Stockbridge is committing to do that right there. That's something that Bainbridge, if they had done on the goal line, this game could be tied, or Bainbridge could have a lead right now. It's just a game of inches.
Final 45 seconds of the 3rd quarter. Stockbridge looking to make this a 2-score game. They are on the 9-yard line. McDonald again calls his own number and wrapped around his right leg. To Hardy Tate, the sophomore defensive end. Such a young team, Bainbridge. They've got an awfully bright future. And it looks like the Tigers will be content. Take this one all the way to the other side of the field, where 2nd and goal awaits after this break. Stockbridge 6, Bainbridge 0. You're watching the NFHS Network Road to State on Facebook Watch.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At NFHSLearn.com, you can find over 60 courses for coaches, administrators, officials, parents, students, and performing arts programs, including over 25 free courses such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. For more information, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
12 more minutes left on the road to state. On Facebook Watch, one of these two teams will play in the state final. 2nd and goal from the 6. Stockbridge looking to add to their lead. McDonald gives to Ramsey. He's inside the 5, still on his feet. Falls forward, and they're going to spot him at the 2. 3rd and goal. And the winner of this game not only going to Mercedes-Benz, but perhaps facing the Warner Robins Demons, who have a 28-14 lead over the Rome Wolves, who have a 40-game win streak hanging in the balance. They are the back-to-back defending state champions.
And there's some history there. That was the rematch of the state championship game last year that Rome shut out Warner Robins. A dominant performance by Rome, and Warner Robins led by quarterback Dylan Fromm in the charge.
3rd and goal from the 2. The Tigers give it to Bonner. He's close, but first we have whistles.
Looks like Stockbridge started early.
Let's see what the indication is. Oh, it might be against Bainbridge. Yes, offsides Bainbridge. Oh, my. Still 3rd down, but boy, look like they had Bonner welled up. Instead, the ball will be put at the 1-yard line.
Wiley, if Stockbridge is able to get in right here, doing something Bainbridge was unable to do, that's going to be huge. Football, especially in this game, is going to be a game of literally inches.
It was an identical situation for Bainbridge. 3rd and goal from the 1. They couldn't get into the first half. And this time up the middle, and McDonald faked out everyone and falls forward into the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. What a fake by Javon McDonald, as he has given Stockbridge a 12-0 lead in the first minute of the 4th quarter. The Tigers, they've got visions of their first ever state title appearance.
And to be honest, him pulling it did not fake Vic Wimberly. He was chasing him down from about the 5-yard line. That touchdown right there was just set up by McDonald's just will to try to get into the end zone right there. Bainbridge was there.
Trejo on for the point after. And it is good. 13-0. Stockbridge over Bainbridge. 10 minutes, 54 seconds remaining. And finally turning a turnover into points, although we do have a flag on the field. It is good. Personal foul. Roughing the kicker will go against Bainbridge. I imagine that will be assessed on the kickoff. But, Jack, I thought you hit the nail on the head. Bainbridge, 3rd and goal from the 1, could not score a touchdown. In the first half, Stockbridge takes advantage in the opening minute and 6 seconds of the 4th quarter, an identical situation.
And those 2 total yards is a 14-point swing. Bainbridge unable to get in the end zone, Stockbridge able to get in the end zone. That's really what set up the difference in this game right now. Bainbridge, they've still got a lot of time left, but with 0 points on the board, they've really got to start getting something together and finishing it.
10 minutes and 54 seconds in eternity in high school football, especially with how explosive the special teams unit can be for Bainbridge. They had Caleb McDowell run a kickback 98 yards last week to begin the second half against Buford in an unthinkable upset. But that personal foul means that Stockbridge will be kicking from the Bainbridge 45. Some coaches view it in that if we're already on this side of the field, it's worth taking your shot at an onside attempt. Up 13-0, knowing Bainbridge has a lot of work cut out for them. I imagine they might just kick this thing deep. Let's see what the sophomore Trejo's been instructed to do. He'll pop this one high in the air. It'll be handed by McDowell. Throws it back. It's picked up by Spivey. He's up the left sideline. A lot of speed, and he's taken down by McKee at the 39. Well, there's a little bit of adrenaline pumped into the Bainbridge sideline as Spivey took a mighty hit.
While that is something you do not see every day, you usually see those type of throws right here.
Now, we do have a flag. I'm not sure this was a backward pass.
To me, it looked like a backwards pass, but it was close.
Well, you see where Stockbridge, their defense is lined on the 25. And they're not at all expecting this to be ruled lateral. Now the officiating crew heading back towards the 10-yard line. They've picked up the flag, no signal yet, but the Tiger defense is down at the 10-yard line. And here's the ruling. Yep, that is going to be an illegal pass, and therefore the ball will be placed at the 5. You knew it was going to be close watching it in real time. And because of that, instead of a 60-yard field, it'll be a 95-yard field. Let's take one more look at it, and you can be the judge. As you have McDowell there, he's going back to the 10, speed up a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so he catches it at the 7, throws it from basically the 7-yard line, and Spivey, I believe, catches it at the 9. So that's a 2-yard forward pass. The right call, no question about it. So 1st and 10 from the 5. And McDowell rumbling forward before he's wrapped up by Barkley, the future South Alabama Jaguar.
You'd like to see Bainbridge have a little bit more of a sense of urgency. Now, they do have time left in this 4th quarter, but the way Stockbridge is playing offense, that triple option offense, before you know it'll just chew the clock. So a little more sense of urgency is needed for the Bearcats.
So 2nd and 7, all at the 8. Send Dodson in motion, the tight end. We give it one more time to McDowell. He'll try to create, and he gets nothing but a mid-air thumping from John Prince. He's had a tackle for loss in 7 of his last 8 games.
And this front four for Stockbridge is crucial to stop Bainbridge's running game because these backs are very good in space, not necessarily inside the tackles when there's a whole bunch of defensive linemen in their face. Stockbridge has done exactly that, forcing now to a 3rd and medium for Bainbridge.
3rd down and 5. Got to get to the 15. Hawkins looking to pass. He's in trouble. Throws it up, and it is caught. Hauled in. What a grab and snag from Smoke Bowie, Dion Bowie. Have not heard much from him, but he was a game changer defensively against Buford, and the freshman has his 6th reception of his varsity career.
They call this guy special. He's truly a treat to watch, only as a freshman as well. Right here when big plays need to be made, he's right there, and a great job by Hawkins escaping the pressure, making a tough throw on the run.
His first reception since the first round. This time it is secured by A.J. Cooper, the senior now with a catch.
These stats for Bainbridge are going to look good after the game. A lot of yards, catches, rushes, but the one thing that's really empty right now is the touchdown column. They've got to get some of those.
So after a 17-yard catch to Smoke Bowie, that is a modest gain of 6, 2nd down and 4. 8.5 to go. Here come the Bearcats. They're feeding it ahead successfully. One more time to Cooper. Stopped by Orahome, who already has 1 interception this evening.
It's good to see Cooper bounce back after only 11 yards receiving last week.
1st and 10 after an 11-yard gain. And this time it's the physical running from a Bearcat back. It's Caleb McDowell. Stop made by Bryce Bass. Junior defensive end doesn't have quite the same size as a guy like Desmond Barkley or Steve Eason in the weight column, but still physical.
Now 7:50 ticking. Bainbridge has really got to start thinking about really trying to push this ball down the field.
2nd and 7. Hawkins, a deep drop. Couldn't find anybody. He's going to run with it. He's got a 1st down and out of bounds. Guided out by Orahome.
Hawkins makes just a great play right here. There is a flag, though, at the 50-yard line. This one could be coming back, but
we have had a lot of laundry tonight.
Especially on the Bainbridge offensive side. Bainbridge has had a lot of big plays on offense that have come back. Look at the first drive of the first almost touchdown of the game where Spivey made that great play, made all those defenders miss. That one came back. Bainbridge had a whole bunch of penalties earlier, and they're picking the flag up. Huge for Bainbridge. A big play for Hawkins, able to find the 1st down marker, not only find it, be able to get out of bounds, stop the clock, and get Bainbridge into Stockbridge territory.
So 1st and 10. They will spot the ball at the 45. That's an 11-yard scamper. 13-0 Stockbridge. Bearcats trying to get in the end zone and cut this deficit in half. Hit as he throws, and incomplete.
John Prince delivering the pressure right there. We've seen him in the backfield on a few plays. He was the guy that tackled McDowell on the goal line at the half-yard line. He's been making big plays all night for Stockbridge.
And forced that fumble that resulted in a touchback. So one more look. Prince, he gets off his block so quick as he beats Lawson Chandler.
And that's been a common theme tonight as well.
7 minutes, 21 seconds left. 2nd down and 10. It's caught. Still fighting around for room. Here he goes. Smoke Bowie all the way. And he'll step out of bounds at the 7-yard line. Dion Bowie, lightning in a bottle.
Wow, this kid is incredible. When Spivey goes down, you need another big playmaker to step up. Bowie is that guy as a freshman that comes up and makes a huge play for Bainbridge. But now for Bainbridge, it's the dangerous red zone. They've got to get in this time.
And one more time, a look at this running by Smoke Bowie, just a freshman. His cousin Zion also in the defensive backfield with them, playing both ways here as he nearly outruns the entire defense.
5
And
tackles.
around the left side, this time they give it to McDowell, and he's down to right about the 5. That last play, a 38-yard catch, gets him down to the 7. And now after that run by Caleb McDowell,
And you have no option for field goal right here for Bainbridge. You've got to get in for 6.
so it's a gain of 1, 2nd and goal from the 6. Hawkins, little outlet pass, McDowell, he's in for 6, the sophomore with his 9th touchdown of the playoffs. And Bainbridge finally on the board with 6 minutes and 37 seconds remaining. They are not done yet.
That's just a great play by McDowell. The way he's able to catch that ball and go upfield right when he catches it, not wasting any time, allows him to get to that end zone, and then getting sent in airborne is able to control himself, make sure he doesn't lose the football, making sure he gets across the pylon first. A big play for Bainbridge, and they finally get up on the board.
A big extra point coming here from Caleb Harris. And it is good. 13-7. Bainbridge goes 95 yards and completes it with this touchdown pass from Quade Hawkins to Caleb McDowell.
Great job reaching across the pylon once again. I don't think if he had kept that ball tucked in, he would have had enough to get the touchdown, but able to really control himself aerially, able to reach the ball across the pylon. Bainbridge is right back in this game, and really, besides the score right now, you can make a good argument that Bainbridge has outplayed Stockbridge tonight, especially on the offensive side.
From a yardage standpoint, it's not even close. Stockbridge, they did have their 182-yard drive at the end of the first half, but their second touchdown was aided by a fumble that gave them the ball in the 21. Bainbridge, meanwhile, they have dominated play between the 20s, but Jack, postseason football, any type of football, comes down to turnovers and what you do in the red zone. And Bainbridge -3 in turnovers tonight. They've had 3 trips inside the red zone, just 7 points. Stockbridge, meanwhile, they've created those 3 turnovers, have not turned the ball over themselves, and have cashed in on their trips inside the 20. But still, everything is up for grabs. 13-7. It's a short kick that sneaks past the back. That is Quantez Futt. Oh, beg your pardon. No, that is Markel Ramsey, number 4, who fields it. It'll be 1st and 10 for Stockbridge. 6 minutes and 33 seconds. A quick reset for you. Bainbridge 8-5. They were 2-4 earlier this year. 3-5. They have since won 5 in a row, taking down 3 top 10 teams through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, facing number 6 Stockbridge, who is 12-1, 0-2 all time in semifinals. They lost here in the jungle in 2014 to Mays High School and lost to the eventual state champions Rome 28-21 2 years ago. Have a chance that they might see Rome again in the state finals if they can make it, and if the Wolves can rebound against Warner Robins. But first things first, McDonald looking for the deep ball, takes his shot. Did McKee catch that one? No, they'll say he landed out of bounds. And that video review tent plays just perfectly, Jack, to where we can't see it.
Exactly. If you look at Stockbridge has played a solid game today, but they've had so many opportunities for their offense to get on the field and score some points and really make this game more than a 6-point game. They have not been able to do that. But now with 6:24 left, they have that opportunity to put all of those previous mistakes out the door and seal this one. They've just got to put together a good drive and get 7 on the board.
Even 3
would make it a 9-point game.
Granted, they've kicked just 1 field goal all year. And it's McDonald. He decided to keep it himself. And Randy Fillingame, the senior, second-team All-Region selection a year ago. He's been an all-state type of player tonight.
Well, and Tahari Tate right there just pulling out a box out. He just had his back towards him, was just pushing him back, and him and Fillingame's help really causing havoc for Stockbridge. And this is it for Bainbridge right here. They get off the field. They're going to have a prime opportunity in this ball game.
3rd down and 11.
This is the 3rd down you want to be in for Bainbridge. Generally an option-based team for Stockbridge, forced into a long down, forced to pass the ball. Pass rushers can pin their ears back.
A massive play and a whistle beforehand. A timeout, Stockbridge, with 5 minutes and 42 seconds on the clock. The Tigers will take a break. Trip to the state finals on the line. If you can't make it to Mercedes-Benz Stadium next week, watch all the live action from the GHSA Football Championships on the NFHS Network. Tuesday and Wednesday beginning at 10 a.m. with the Class A public final. One of these teams will battle the winner of Rome and Warner Robins at 4:30 Tuesday afternoon at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Stockbridge, they have never reached a state final. And put this into perspective, Kevin Whitley's the 14th coach for Stockbridge. This is their 55th football season. The first 13 head coaches across 45 years, they had 0 playoff appearances. Just 11 winning seasons. Kevin Whitley, he's led his team to the playoffs in 9 of his 10 years, 9 straight, 9 winning seasons, 5 region titles, but never a state final. That could change tonight. 3rd down and 11. McDonald will pass. Taylor looking to throw over the top. It's intercepted. Spivey's got it. No, it's Devin Bowie. Bowie's going to take it all the way. And touchdown! Dion Bowie! Holy smokes! Impossible. The freshman ball hawked it and made the pick and brought it to the house. We're tied in Stockbridge. Unbelievable. Dion Bowie.
And Stockbridge simply just trying to pull something out of the bag right there, and Bainbridge was ready for it, making a huge play, not only intercepting that pass, but getting all the way into the end zone. Now this extra point, huge for the lead. You see the fans up out of their seats.
And Bainbridge has taken the lead. Zion Bowie, the freshman. His cousin Dion Bowie with that key 3rd down catch on the previous drive. This time it's Zion Bowie, the interception return for touchdown. Holy smokes.
And I don't think I've heard the crowd erupt more tonight than what just happened on that interception. You've got to give a lot of credit to these Bainbridge fans making the travel all the way here to Stockbridge, watching a great game tonight. Trying to get too fancy right here. Right?
A 41 interception return to the house. Zion Bowie. How about the Bowie cousins coming out big time tonight in Stockbridge?
Look at that referee down on the sidelines running straight with them, too.
Unreal. That is 2 touchdowns in a span of 1 minute and 9 seconds. A 41-yard pick 6 from Zion Bowie, a fellow freshman with Dion Bowie. And now a sky kick. This will be handed by Ramsey. He'll get it out to the 37. Well, Jack, it's been turnovers all postseason long for Bainbridge. That is the 12th that they have forced this postseason in their 4th game. And Zion Bowie, the freshman, had just 19 tackles on the season. But the pass from the receiver, Isaiah Taylor, picked off and taken all the way to the house. Wow. All right, well, here we go. Ball at the 36. McDonald looking to go to the air. Takes his shot over the top, and it's caught by McKee. Yasin McKee with the big-time answer. Oh, my goodness. It's right hook after right hook between Bainbridge and Stockbridge.
Like you said, Wiley, after about jabbing for a few quarters, the hooks are coming out. These teams are really shooting it downfield and making some big plays. Late game superstars for each team are going to try to step up, and McDonald with a great throw right there.
McDowell takes him down. Ball on the 34. And a run up the middle from McDonald. Wow, talk about the composure from Javon McDonald. It was not him who threw the interception that was taken back. That was Isaiah Taylor, his primary receiver. But they go right back to the air, and cool, calm, and collected. A pickup of 31 yards on the pass, and now a gain of 2 makes it 2nd and 8, ball at the 32. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be quite the finish. We still got 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining.
I'm just very impressed with the ability for these teams to come back after big plays.
2nd and 8. McDonald tap dancing his way across the 30. Sets up 3rd down.
And really, for Stockbridge, they're not in field goal territory right now, so we're looking 4-down territory right here. Not very comfortable kicking the football. So Bainbridge most likely going to stay out in the field for 2 downs, even if they get the stop here.
3rd down and 5. 4 minutes and vanishing here at Tiger Stadium in Stockbridge, Georgia. Henry County. McDonald. His pass complete to McKee. He's got near the 1st down. Where are they going to spot him? It'll either be 1st and 10. It looks like he's got it. And he does, down to the 22-yard line.
You got to give a lot of credit to Coach Kevin Whitley right there, giving a new look on 3rd down, goes 5 wide, something that we've not seen today. It threw the Bainbridge defense off. Stockbridge picking up a big 1st down.
So they needed 5, they got 7. 3.5 minutes to go. Trip to the state final on the line. Javon McDonald leading his team down the field. This time they give it to Ramsey, who bullies his way forward right into Roman Harrison, the future Tennessee Volunteer. But Ramsey gets him into the 20.
And the Bainbridge defense is still in a good spot. They've had a big ability tonight to get plays, get behind the line of scrimmage, get the quarterback down behind the line of scrimmage. And Stockbridge is really trying to get in the end zone for 6 right here. Their field goal unit is not as reliable as Bainbridge is.
Kevin Whitley said he was confident inside of 35 for his sophomore kicko, Marco Trejo. They'd be right around 37, 36 yards as they stand, but keep in mind Trejo is just 1 for 1 this year, and it was from 20 yards. Ball's on the ground. Who recovered it? They lost it in the mesh. I think Ramsey may have hopped on it. The back for Stockbridge. And yes, they'll say it stays with Stockbridge. Oh, my. Every heart on the near sideline skipped at least 1 beat.
That's 3 times now that Stockbridge has dropped the ball and has been able to fumble. It's been able to recover it. It's been quite fortunate for Stockbridge tonight.
One more look at it. Did not secure it. Ball on the ground, and what a bounce. Goes right underneath the belly button of Markel Ramsey. Junior be back with a big sigh of relief, I'm sure. So it's now 3rd down. 2 minutes to go. McDonald rolling right. He'll take a shot towards the end zone. It's caught by McKee, and he's in. Touchdown, Yasin McKee. Yasin McKee for 6. And Stockbridge retakes the lead. Oh, my word. Yasin says booyah.
These two teams are just going back and forth at each other. Big players, Bowie for Bainbridge. Now we've got McKee for Stockbridge. The players are making plays when they need to. This game's going to go down to the wire. Interesting to see Stockbridge. You'd think they'd try to go for 2 here. They're up 5 points, a 2-point conversion.
You're 100% right. I'm not sure why they're kicking it. Fans are asking why they're kicking 2 as well. They called a timeout or tried to get a timeout.
And they missed
It's no good anyway. Oh, my goodness, the miscommunication on the Stockbridge sideline. They don't go for 2, and now a touchdown, regardless of extra points, gives Bainbridge the lead. Oh, my word.
The only thing that I can think of is getting the extra point would maybe guarantee a tie if Bainbridge scored and missed extra point. But Harris is 2 for 2 on extra points. They've looked good on both of them. I just don't understand what the theory is right there.
I think the theory is they had a miscommunication. I really believe that. And you saw head coach Kevin Whitley racing down the sideline. And there is Kevin Whitley talking to his kicker right now. They were racing down, trying to get a timeout. Again, so much emotion. Stockbridge trying to get to their first state final in school history. And you have this touchdown pass from McDonald to Yasin McKee. And look at him stretch for the pylon here, folks. This is phenomenal.
And a great throw as well.
Yasin McKee, the senior, his 4th receiving touchdown of the season. And with a minute and 52 seconds, here we go.
For Stockbridge on that touchdown, everything went right. A great throw from McDonald, put it right on the money for McKee. McKee makes a very athletic play, but Bainbridge still has time to try to win this football game. It's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be a great one.
In the last 5 minutes, we've seen 3 touchdowns. 2 for Bainbridge, which capped off a 95-yard drive and a pick 6. And then that phenomenal drive to respond. The ball is loose. It's flying around. Who picked it up? It's Bainbridge with it. They've got it. And now a lateral, and it's still alive. This is impossible. This can't be happening. Bainbridge down the sideline. Touchdown, Bearcats. Caleb McDowell's in the end zone. This is not possible. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Wiley, this is absolutely ridiculous. Randy Fillingame, the best player on this defensive side, makes a great play to grab the ball, then hands it to arguably the best player on the offensive side, McDowell, who's able to run with it all the way to the house, and just when you thought this game could not get any crazier, oh my goodness. And this is where choosing to kick the extra point and missing it comes back to bite you right here.
Well, and now Bainbridge is lining up to kick the extra point, and they've got to get the 2-point team out there. And timeout Bainbridge, they're sending their kicking team onto the field. This is one of the most unfathomable sequences we've seen. In the last 4 minutes, we've seen a pick 6, a 20-yard touchdown pass to re-give Stockbridge the lead. They don't take the 2-point team out. And instead of having a chance to have a tie game, they're now going to be trailing. And Caleb McDowell has taken his 2nd kick return to the house, his 10th touchdown of the postseason. You can't even imagine the emotions going on for him, a sophomore playing in the state semifinals. And you can't afford not to mention having lost his mother 4.5 weeks ago. He's got to be walking on cloud 9 right now. I mean, what an emotional outburst for a team that defeated Buford, who hadn't lost a home playoff game in the last 35 tries. If there's ever a team of destiny, they are wearing gold, white, and purple tonight, and they reside in Bainbridge, Georgia.
And Wiley, we talked about Bainbridge's struggles to get in from a few yards out. Well, one way to fix that is just score from about 60 yards out, and that's what Bainbridge did right there. Bainbridge is just one of those teams that's just special. They don't give up. They were down 13 points with about 6 minutes left, and look where we are right now. Scoring 20 points in about 5 minutes. That's just incredible after scoring 0 through the entire game.
It is actually 5 minutes to a T, Jack. They scored their first touchdown with 6 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. They have scored 20 points in 5 minutes. A pick 6, a kick return, and now it's Hawkins looking to throw, and it's incomplete. Intended for Aaron Spivey. And now how big is the decision not to go for 2? I mean, you're looking at a point where, okay, tie game, world's not over. And again, it's far from over here. But Stockbridge, a miscommunication on their sideline. They do not go for 2. Of course, no guarantee they would have gotten the 2 points. But you go from being tied. And look at this kick return. Fillingame, the senior, making an unthinkable decision here. Look at this.
They should really try him at running back.
He pushes it back to McDowell. And McDowell takes it all the way. Under no circumstance would a coach ever give the sign of approval
and really
to throw that back. And I just cannot imagine what that young man, Caleb McDowell, he has been through so much in the last 2 months. Hurricane Michael hitting his hometown, devastating, losing power for 3 weeks across the community, losing his mother 4.5 weeks ago. And he has scored 2 touchdowns tonight and 10 touchdowns in the postseason. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't love high school football and what it can do, these stories, they're unbeatable. I don't care what level you're at with what it means to both these groups.
And Fillingame, that play was really set up by him. He's able to evade defenders, break up tackles. set up that play long enough so he can able to pitch that to McDowell. And that's crazy. That's a linebacker, too. Holding onto the ball, evading defenders, setting up that big play by McDowell. And, boy, is he fast getting down the sidelines.
Well, between the Bearcats and the Tigers here in the jungle, this is jungle madness.
It's the game for the ages.
Bainbridge won a state title in '82, and they have not reached the state finals since. Stockbridge, their first 45 seasons, never made the state playoffs. This is their 9th consecutive appearance, and now a chance to get to their first ever state final. And both the timeouts that Bainbridge has called here in the final 2 minutes have come on untimed plays.
Well, hopefully hopefully they can get a stop so they won't need them. And that's from the Bainbridge perspective right here. But if you're Bainbridge trying to kick the ball, it's very important that you know not to kick the ball to McKee. On that last touchdown, he's explosive. You don't want to kick him the ball.
If you think high school sports are nuts, keep in mind the NFHS network will also feature top basketball games on Facebook Watch throughout the winter. Watch next week as some of the best teams in Georgia take the court. NFHS Network Hoops is your home for great basketball all winter long. But I am in no rush for football season to end here, Jack. So 20-19 our score. We entered the fourth quarter. It was Stockbridge 6, Bainbridge nothing. Tigers took a 13-0 lead in the first minute and 6 seconds of this quarter. Bainbridge marched 95 yards to cut it to 13-7. A pick six makes it 14-7 less than a minute later. And then Stockbridge, a 20-yard touchdown pass, and then a kick return from Bainbridge has given the Bearcats the 20-19 lead. So, minute 37. Stockbridge has got one timeout. This has been utter lunacy in the last 6.5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. No other way to put it. What do the final 93 seconds have in store here at Tiger Stadium?
In pretty good field position to start out for Stockbridge as well.
Ball at the 44. Javon McDonald, a junior quarterback, going back to work. Goes to the air. It's caught by Isaiah Taylor. A stiff arm into his own sideline and out of bounds.
Great job getting out of bounds as well. For Stockbridge, Taylor is going to be that target, and if you're Bainbridge, you got to make sure you have at least one, maybe if not two guys on him, at least near him.
Minute 26. 11-yard catch. Ball at the 45. 1st and 10. They give it to Taylor. Makes one man miss. Spins away, but he's ridden down well in the backfield. A huge tackle. The sophomore Tahari Tate takes him down.
And that's the second time in a big play Stockbridge has tried to pull something out of their hats. You saw the pick six by Bowie for Bainbridge was on a pass from Taylor. This time they're trying to go on a reverse to him. Just getting too fancy right there. It costs Stockbridge a huge play and a timeout.
Their final timeout. 1 minute and 6 seconds left. Both teams are out of it. This is high school football, and there is truly nothing better than semifinal football. And boy, give Kevin Whitley a lot of credit. Former Georgia Southern Eagle, won a couple national titles under Irk Russell and Coach Todd Stowers. Working with his team right now. Meanwhile, for Bainbridge, Jeff Littleton in his 7th season, he was 0-5 on the road in the playoffs in his first 6 seasons at Bainbridge. They are 2-0 this year and are 1 minute and 14 seconds away from being 3-0 and going to their first state title since Jeff Littleton was a middle schooler. He won a state title as a player at Worth County. He won a state title as a defensive coordinator at Cairo. Now trying to bring Bainbridge all the way to the final game. From the 48, a dart, complete. McKee breaks one tackle taken down from behind by Anthony Brooks, senior linebacker. Brings up 3rd down. Clock is running. 3rd and 8. They got to get to the 35. McDonald completes it to McKee. Where will they, or beg your pardon.
That was McKee.
Yes, complete to McKee. Where will they spot him? Looks like the 38. That'll bring up 4th and 3. This is it right here. They've got to get to the 35. Stockbridge out of timeouts. Bainbridge out of timeouts. Play clock is rolling. Tigers to the line. Bridge against Bridge. Who's going to build it? McDonald looks to run. He's got the first down. Oh, my goodness. He was high wiring the 35-yard line. He got to get the first down. He got it. Oh, my goodness. He was sitting there just towing it.
He got the first down, then it's like, oh, no, and it gets to the sidelines. It's a good thing there was not a Bainbridge defender there. That would have been real close. But he's got his priorities in line, trying to get out of bounds.
And look at that. That is the line to gain right there. Oh, my word. Okay. Ball to 33 now. 40.6 seconds remaining in this state semifinal. Bainbridge a 1-point lead from the far hash. Incomplete. Overshot Markel Ramsey. 2nd down and 10. 35 seconds remaining.
And whatever Stockbridge decides to do on offense, no matter what it is, Bainbridge has got to have eyes on this guy right here, number 2, Javon McDonald. No matter whether it's running the football or dropping back to pass, he's a threat. And if Stockbridge is going to make a play, it's going to come from him at some point. Whether it's throwing the ball or running the ball, he's going to be the guy if Stockbridge was to win.
The Tigers 12-1, number 6 in Class 5A. Bainbridge unranked, looking to vanquish their 4th consecutive top 10 team. 2nd and 10. He's under duress. Takes a deep shot. Incomplete over the head of Yasin McKee. Boy, if he puts that in the right spot, Stockbridge takes the lead. 29 seconds remaining. 3rd down and 10.
Bainbridge and Stockbridge are just going at it right now. This is one heck of a game. Stockbridge is so close on some of these passes, and you see Bainbridge choosing to send pressure right here. That's one way to avoid McDonald from having a lot of time and escaping out of the pocket, is to hit him like that.
Third down and 10. Dump pass incomplete off the left hand of Ramsey, and it's another 4th down for Stockbridge. And you've just got to keep in mind the decision not to go for 2 after taking a 19-14 lead. Instead, Stockbridge went to kick the PAT, and it appeared that head coach Kevin Whitley wanted a timeout to put the 2-point team on there. It was such an emotional moment. And there's no guarantee that they would have gotten it. But if they had, you could be looking at a tie game right now. And while the stakes still high, not as potentially fatal. 4th down and 10. They've got to get to the 23 to keep their season alive. Bainbridge a play away from the state final. McDonald. It is complete to McKee. Oh, it's awfully close. Where are they going to spot him? Where are they going to spot him? It looks like it's going to be right near the 19. It's 4th and 10. Where are they going to put the ball down? This is it, ladies and gentlemen.
They gave it to him.
1st and 10, Bainbridge.
Wow.
That's your ball game. The Bearcats hold them a yard shy of the sticks. And the Bainbridge Bearcats are going back to the state final for the first time since 1982. The team of destiny will play in December.
If there's such thing as November Madness, this is it right here. Completing a 5-0 playoff streak that started at Jones County, made all the way through a few stops. And wow.
All they need to do is execute the kneel down, and Bainbridge will make one long trip, but this time to the capital, to the Mecca of sport. Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Quade Hawkins takes the knee, and the game is over. Your final score, the Bainbridge Bearcats 20, Stockbridge 19. The Bearcats are going to the state final. It is hard to play. Passed away a little over a month ago, scores his 10th touchdown of the postseason, and it wins the game on a ill-advised lateral. But the senior Randy Fillingham makes the play, and Jack, we won't soon forget this one.
The ultimate underdog story continuing on to the Benz. They've got a tough task next week, whether it's Rome or Warner Robins, but at this point, it feels like this team can do anything. It feels, no matter if they're favored or underdog, they've been underdogged for this entire playoffs, whether it's Buford or tonight Stockbridge. The Road Warriors came out to play tonight, and boy, am I glad the NFHS Network is doing those games next week. I hope none of my teachers are watching this right now, but the NFHS Network will be pulled up on my laptop during class next week.
Coming from Jack Hunter, the high school junior who won't soon forget this game as long as he lives. Again, folks, if you can't make it to Mercedes-Benz Stadium next week, watch all the live action from the GHSA Football Championships on the NFHS Network. And, ladies and gentlemen, the Bainbridge Bearcats, they'll be there. Cinderella is taking her pumpkin all the way to Mercedes-Benz. And fans, also don't forget a reminder that the NFHS Network's coverage doesn't end with football. Tune in next Friday at 7:30 p.m. to watch top Georgia basketball talents Brandon Boston and the Norcross Blue Devils as they take on Parkview. NFHS Network Hoops is your home for great basketball all winter long. Well, big thanks to our entire crew. David Getze,
Coleman Thompson, Parker Chalmers,
and Stephen Lawler doing a great job tonight helping us out. Thank you so much for joining us. I have a hard time thinking you'll see that much magic in a week and a half, but it'll be worth it to watch. For Jack Hunter and Wiley Ballard saying so long from Tiger Stadium, in the jungle, it was madness. Bainbridge 20, Stockbridge 19. You watched it right here on the NFHS Network's Road to State on Facebook Watch.